Politicking, hanging tennis, and we on rest. The fuck I look like beefing with you pussy niggas now. Somebody died chillin', pussy nigga wasn't involved. Head above the heels and know them niggas didn't want it all. That cake could keep a key, he know he could call. I want peacocks out, she down to my draw. She play with my mentor, she know I prep all. Come save my dog, he my nigga, he get.
Yo, welcome to It's Up There Podcast. You know exactly who you listening to, Big Loon. For full videos, you go to Pateron.com. It's Up There Podcast. We're going to start rolling out videos again on YouTube, as I said, FOGFO TV. We'll start the part today just speaking about the Kanye West documentary. This was a unique documentary. I think it holds a lot of value in it, right? I always tell creators, especially when you are one of the ones that had to do agriculture, had to make it work, had to use your brain power, had to muscle your way in certain situations. If you one of them, it's value in documenting that process. People pay to see you push and pull. I always tell y'all it's the strategy. It ain't the strength. But this documentary on Netflix was told by Cootie. He was the guy with the infamous clip that called Bow Wow Girl that I think is now going viral again, that you may have seen in a documentary. But he was also a comic. So his perspective was, I kind of put aside what it was I done and just start following dude with a camera. I knew something was up with him. I think that's easy to say in hindsight, right? I do believe something was there, though, for him to have that camera. But I always tell creators, if you feel special about what it is you're doing, document the process. Because unfortunately for humans, they can only deal with the end result most time, whether you fail or you win. And see, a lot of times I hear dudes talking, and let me say this about our differences in approach, me, other podcasters, other creators, other business entrepreneurs, right? They want to talk to who own it, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to talk to who own it, right? I want to talk to who owns it too, right? And that's in regards to whatever. When you're looking for information, you got to pull it from the people that was involved in the instructions. You see what I'm saying? And so sometimes you want to talk to who owned it. Me, I want to talk to who built it. Oftentimes, creators are not keepers of their creations for a number of reasons. But I need to speak to who built it, not who bought it, not who owned it even. Sometimes who owned it ain't who built it. So he can't talk to what I need to understand. Right? When you deal with Apple, Steve Jobs built that. The people that's there now are procreating. I want to talk to the creator of it. The people that started Spotify, you got to look in the building and see who's there. When you hear some of these companies get bought out, you got to know what that speaks to. I want to talk to the people who built some of these things. And when you look at Kanye, you can tell when he started getting money. That's another interesting thing that I pay attention to, not only in our culture, but in cultures abroad, right? Wherever you like to place your finances, white people tend to go different routes, but you can tell when the money start rolling in. Things change just a little bit. That's a tweak on how I walk. It's a tweak on my hat, my outfit. My shit hit a little different now. I'm starting to figure this thing out, right? And so to be able to see that was all interesting. It means a lot to me because I'm a creator that had to go get the ground wild. So to see somebody planting the ground wild mean a lot. It's almost like a YouTube tutorial. All the information attached to it, we're able to get it in real time. And I think it gives us an advantage that our ancestors didn't have. And for us not to capitalize would be a mistake. But I also got to give credit to who own it. Because if you talk to who own it, a lot of times they don't want to talk to you. A lot of times they'll send a rep from the company, somebody that's in his ear. But the guy who own it don't really want to talk about building nothing. He just like it the way it is because he bought it from the person that built it. And I need to speak to the people that built it. I need to know what holds it up. I need to know what keeps it steady, sturdy. I need to know if a storm come and the roof come off, how to put it back. Right. And so business, I got to go all the way down from the top to the bottom. and it's an adventure. But when you're dealing with people like the Kanyes, like the Jay-Z's, like the Diddy's, like the Birdmans, like the Loons, them two things, this is when you get to dealing with this is when you're dealing with somebody worth writing home about. When no two things overlap. When the boy built it and he owned it. And when it overlap, that's when you become a mogul. I tell a lot of people, oh, you thought you can do $1 million thing and they were going to put you on Jay-Z and them level. I like to look at some of the podcasts. Oh, you thought you did one show and then they were going to put you on Diddy and Jay-Z and Birdman them level. You thought the game supposed to look at you like that. Who you fooling? Boy, you got to do this 10 or 15 times around here, boy. You got to take something from nothing 10 or 15 times. I was riding with B. Marshall 2-3 in the morning. I'm talking to him. I'm like, yo, it's about legacy. It's no longer about us and how much money we can make us. We need somebody loud about what we did. When you look at Kanye, this is something he said in that documentary, and this relates to what me and B. Marshall was talking about. He said Jay-Z is one of the only artists that you can sign to and still be big as hell. You got to understand something now. That spoke to something. I don't know if you missed that or you caught that, but I'm going to break this down for you. I always tell people, every one of the moguls, every one of the people who we view and be like, yo, I'm following them. They done it several times. They done took and made several different people millionaires. You got to do that. You need soldiers. Yo, woo changed my life. Put me in a position that such and such. Now, what happens is, and this happens, and then it provides you a luxury that you can't pay for. Jay-Z couldn't be viewed how Jay-Z is viewed today without Kanye being able to say some of the things he's able to say, or Kanye being that big. So when Kanye says, hey, yo, you can be under Jay and still be big as hell, you got to think he's stretching it out for Jay. That's work Jay ain't got to do. And he's speaking to the people that believe in him. And just so happened the boy blew up. But Jay wouldn't be viewed that way if he didn't have Rockefeller. And then he didn't do damn near carry Bennett, damn near carry Memphis Bleak, damn near carry Freeway. Damn near carry that label, right? He got 10, 15 projects out where the lead single is him on it somewhere. Or he's involved in some way to make sure the wheels are spinning. And these dudes think they can go do one hustle and compete with some of these dudes. Cash Money had Nicki, Wayne, and Drake out at the same time. And you made one podcast and, nah, man, you got to do this 15 times. And I'm clear on the vision. But Jay couldn't be viewed that way if Kanye and them weren't saying those things. Not only could he not be viewed that way, in my opinion, he wouldn't be able to talk that way. Cause see how he talk, $1 billion, he able to talk like that because he did do that kind of business, and he did put his hands in on liquor early, put his hands on clothing, come out of that, come over here with Square, come over here with Title. Put his hands in them things so he able to talk that way. But he started off even structuring that thing in a way where people like Kanye had a runway. A lot of these dudes, and that's again, I'm speaking to what's needed to fight for your legacy. You got to create a runway for other people to become Kanye, for other people to become Benny Siegel or what they were in their prime, and what they do with that is on them. You see what I'm saying? And I think that this documentary highlighted his struggle on his way up. Using the Jay-Z card. Using the I made this for such and such card. The Talib Kweli, the Commons. You know, using some of them cards. And this is just episode 1. I think it's like a 4 or 5 episode series, so we'll see more and probably report on it as it unfolds. But as I was just telling B. Marshall, like, it's about legacy. Like, a large chair doesn't make you a king. right? You really got to change people's lives, bro. You want that what Jay and them got. You want that aura. You want that Diddy aura. You want that aura about you. You want that Birdman aura. You got to change people's life. You got to change people's life. Yeah, that's your legacy. Them dudes is like procreations of what you done. And they ain't gonna never let nobody forget most time that, hey, such and such, man, I got 7 figures with such and such. When I was broke, I come out the ghetto. I owe them for life type thing. You feel me? Another thing that documentary showed me, man, as he went in several offices in Rockefeller Records playing All Falls Down. For those of you that don't know what All Falls Down is by Kanye West, that record just hits different. I'm still not sure I've heard another record hit in that vein, hit that spot that record hit, right? It hits a spot that damn near no other record hits that spot. And if you're a music guy, you know what I'm saying. But he ran around in those offices saying, yo, listen to this. Them people couldn't give a less. They couldn't give a less. They were talking to each other when he playing it. Look over here. They wasn't studying. And what they told me is that the people that usually sit behind the desk at some of these companies, even if they got our skin color, a lot of times they be out of touch with us. It's almost like a politician, a person that'll want that job, right? You go out to try to be a politician. Like, that's a unique position to run for, right? It's like I don't know, it says something about you, right? And it's almost like when you're a person in the label that says yes or no to somebody's dreams, right? That job right there is a very unique job. A lot of those people become heartless, right? Because they have to, because they're dealing with business. But to see them be so wrong over and over and over again, it makes me think that what happens with us, even if they black, it's like they pull us in the building and it just disconnects us from everything. I'm not sure what takes place, but usually when they're in those buildings, they're very late to the party. And I think a lot of it has to do with they're dealing with numbers. Because you can't be sonically listening to All Falls Down and don't see that it hits a spot. Even when it comes on with the sample, it's like, yo, that's wow. And for them to be so wrong, it amazes me. I find it funny that business in these labels and with a lot of business, not even with labels, just in business, it's crazy because after you're successful, projections are a thing. But prior to your success, projections are not a thing. Projections, when it can benefit you as an artist or a creator, is nowhere on the table. But projections, when it can put you in debt and possibly help them leverage whatever catalog is in place or whatever the case may be, it's now a thing. Imagine if you were able to be Kanye West and come in and say, hey, give me this on projections with this record. And I think I'm going to be Steve Jobs and say and go 10 times platinum and have college dropout. I just need a super big investment. No, you're talking crazy. They're not going to do that. But once you're successful, that's the thing. It was just unfortunate to see, even though you got our skin color, you can be as wrong as Kanye West with what he means to music as he's playing a record like All Falls Down to you and you can't relate to it. You want to start talking about soy burgers. You and somebody, you try to know, y'all doing that while All Falls Down is playing with a young Kanye West look broke running around. Now we look at Kanye and say, wow, how wrong was these people? And so sometimes when you get no, it might be a good thing because if they're in position 9 times out of 10, they're late to the party. Now, in this new age, it's starting to change, right? When I get off the phone with Revolt, when I speak in the Sirius XM, some of these people 6-7 figure deals, right? When I speak to these people, they're right on time. Yo, Loon, you got it. You're right in the right position. We see exactly what we can do with it. So it feels like it's changing, or I provide a unique service. Either way, it just feels good to see that avenue is in place. Prior to me entering the game, I would have argued that there's no avenue for someone, no matter how talented you are on the mic. But it's crazy just to see, man, like I say, a young Kanye West come up, and what he is now, 6 billion or whatever it is he has. Now when the game provides us a poster, to be able to say, wow, it's possible. And for all the people like me, right, we need that from Jay. And I'm going to start providing services. Like, I got to get with some of these people like, bro, look, you can just sit down 15 minutes, man. We'll handle the rest in post-production. We just need to get some of this information out. What was it like? What did it feel like walking in them buildings? Again, I need to talk to who built it. Yeah, some people want to interview the person that own Death Row right now or own Rockefeller at the moment. I want to talk to who built Rockefeller. The people that helped build Cash Money. The people that built MMG. I want to talk to the architects. I don't want to talk to the subcontractors. Nothing was more clear for me, though, that Kanye and his mother, he had a certain amount of support from his mother that was overwhelming for me to see. Right? I don't know of anyone that's had that level of support from their mom in regards to rap. You got to think what rap means to people who don't participate in the culture. I was telling J.R. Smith the other day on I Am Athlete that if I'm in the woods and I see something that I don't know what it is and I got to explain to you what I saw, I'll probably get it wrong. I'll probably relate it to something that it isn't, but it reminds me of. Nonetheless, I'm wrong, right? So I might say, yo, the thing had big eyes like a such and such, and it was big like a horse. It's like it's far from a horse, but because my environment, I know nothing about, my perspective is off. What I'm looking at ain't what I think it is because I don't know what it is I'm looking at. So sometimes people hear you say you want to be a rapper and all they know is what mainstream is promoted about rappers being arrested and involved in crimes and involved in murders and being murdered. So a mother that cares for a child may not want to hear you being a rapper as a thing that she wants. She may resist that a little bit. But Kanye had a unique ability to speak and touch his mom in a way where she was on the bandwagon so much that she even knew his songs word for word, rapping his songs to him. I said that's unheard of. Number one, it speaks to the content that you provide. Provide a certain level of content that's stylish to the youngster, but translates to the mother. The mother translation is so heavy on it that she recites it. And there's no love like a mother's love. And so it's important to point out to see someone who loves you, believe in you, provides you a certain luxury that you can't pay for. There's a disconnection in our culture with mothers and sons. It's a lot of love, but it's a disconnection. Right? These are two different things that can live in the same place. You can love something and be disconnected from it. The connection that we need needs to look more like that. It needs to be more intertwined, integrated. It needs to be closer to each other to know that even when I see my son, because sometimes us as little boys and even us as grown men like me, I still get chills when I get phone calls. I get phone calls every day from your favorite celebrities. Not even your favorite celebrities. Not even just them. From your dudes that's cutting the checks. The people that's making the business move. That's putting people in front of you. I get calls from them every single day and it still gives me a certain level of chills. It provides me that solace. It provides me the sanity. It provides me the security that I need, right, to keep going, because now they got to deal with a made-up mind. They told me on the West, the people that's in L.A., Hollywood, they told me, you got to look. Up in New York, they say, yo, your part is the fucking truth. That's it. We talking check writers. In the South, I am the South. All across the board, They agree on one thing. This right here is lucrative. It's profitable. So now you got to deal with me making my mind up that ain't nothing going to stop that. So now hustle. Now you got to deal with my hustle. And a lot of times I love to see what a made up mind looked like when it was on its way. And that's what you look at when you see a doc like that. When you look back at Jay-Z in the old days, when you look back at Dame walking in offices. Yo, what's up in here? What y'all? You looking at a made up mind. If you haven't saw the Kanye West documentary, I would highly recommend seeing it again. I think it lives in a place for the creator, for the person hustling, dream taker, dream chaser. I think it's for you. But pay attention to the ingredients. Pay attention to the recipe. Look at what he looked like back then. When he first hit the screen at the beginning, I said, ooh, that's it. That's him right there. That's him right there. Nothing. Bare minimum. Strip him down. I want to see him before they made him who we know him as. I want to see him crawl before he walk. And I want to make sure that, see, because what it does for other creators like me, it makes you maintain respect for one of these dudes. A lot of these dudes, again, got in the car with a lot of people on their way to where they got. I need to speak to the builders, the interior, the people that went and done it. And when I see that, confirmation. But go see that documentary. Let's talk about Maul from the Joe Budden Podcast. And Joe Budden and Rory and that whole situation. We'll revisit it a little bit. For those of you that don't know, Rory and Maul were the original host of the Joe Budden Podcast alongside Joe Budden that had an unfortunate outcome. These two people were friends with Joe Budden prior to the mishap. When it happened, of course, I reported on it. I told people exactly why I think it happened. If you haven't heard that, just go back to my catalog. It's Up There Podcast. I put a lot of game down about the Joe Budden thing. I saw the whole move. Again, I always know that Joe got very lucky, and I just think that was God giving him a, hey, this is about to happen, but I ain't gonna hang you out to dry. But this is about to go, because the reason I say that, if he didn't take that Patreon deal right before that happened, he'll be in a different situation right now. Luckily, he took that Patreon deal, and a lot of you take that as me speaking to the money he got for whatever made up title they gave him at Patreon. I took that off the table. What I'm looking at is that he was able to transfer a large part of his audience over to Patreon while everything was still good. So we got a lot of Rory fans over there, a lot of Maul fans that still went, even though the breakup was a thing. Right? It was after you've converted probably 80% of the people that's gonna convert, right, over to spending with you. So that was such an important thing, because now that gives the business revenue every month. Because if you notice, right after that, the views and things were affected, the dislike button, people, you know, like what happens with breakups, right? And so when I saw that move, I said, okay, cool. In my opinion, I think Joe leveraged the podcast to get a check over at Patreon. We'll have that conversation one day. But unfortunate to see, I still think Joe isn't 100% in with the guys, and I love Ish. Ish kills it. Great podcaster. Ice brings what he brings. Of course, Parks. People ask me, Loon, you think Parks made the right decision? I'm going to say yes, because I don't think Parks can survive in the same capacity with Rory and Maul and them. I think he made the right decision staying with Joe. I think Joe will have to spin off from either Ice is going to probably spin off and he's going to give Ice his own little thing, and him and Ish may do a one-on-one. And then at some point he'll do what I'm doing, which is probably everyone's goal, is to do it the way I'm doing it, right? But I just had to grab my nuts and get out there and do it. And now they have to deal with me in the marketplace with whatever understanding that I operate with. But you also got to remember Joe Budden, Rory, and Mal had just came off a Spotify deal in which Joe turned down 30 million or something, they're saying, allegedly, for whatever number that I say, because I don't have any inside information on it. But allegedly Joe turned down 30 million, right? So you turn down 30 million. I knew at that point that there's a big problem, because at that point, had he took a deal, a lump sum of money was coming to those guys and it would have shut them up. But now we go into, no, you're not stopped getting paid. You're still going to get paid. Yeah, but we was looking at some money from back then. Now we got our eyes open that when the check comes in, we want to see it. See, last time the check come in and you just told us what happened and we just took that and we're waiting on the accountant. This is what my understanding is from listening to Mal. When the first check came in, they wasn't privy to the information. They kind of just took whatever he said happened and took the money. Now they have accountant on board while another check is about to come through the door. I wonder, did that influence Joe not taking the deal, knowing that there's going to be somewhat of a fair split according to those guys on this project? But Mal spoke to a lot of things that I'm going to speak to Mal about on this pod. And again, I always told people from the beginning, Mal was the guy that hurt Joe Budden. The Rory thing, he's narcissistic. He could have got over Rory, right? He's a white guy I met 4 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it might have been. But Mal, a lot of our relationships overlap, intertwine. You got a lot of information that only you got. And he big Mal up. Let's be clear. This is what was funny about the breakup. I want to be clear with you guys on how to massage your audience. Either he felt that way about Mal or he was doing a great job at building that character up so his audience can accept Mal, because it was always Mal is the cool kid. Mal's the guy I look to for this. Mal's this, Mal that. And I always thought he was building that up. I always thought he was building him up as a co-host, as a personality on the Joe Budden podcast, right? Because people, for the most part, in his mind, his audience doesn't know who Mal is. So I got to co-sign him. And for me, I'm thinking that's the genius of Joe Budden. But when we talk about this, I want to play this very specific clip from the Joe Budden podcast. Let me just kind of lay some framework down of what was going on when this took place. We're about to play a clip when Charlamagne The God came over to the Joe Budden podcast at the very early stages while he was being somewhat attacked, just little jabs at him here and there. He still came over and he said good things about Mal. After the destruction of the original cast of the Joe Budden podcast, we see Mal reference every time Charlamagne said, hey, Mal is what make this podcast go. And we're going to play that clip. Interesting to see Mal use that as leverage when he's rejected Charlamagne and dissed him the whole time. A lot of times people shape opinions on you based on the people that's providing them information about you. I want to be clear about what Joe Budden stood right here, because it's important you understand position is important, right? If you don't understand where you stand, you don't understand how to get started. And so when Joe was in this position, he was in a vulnerable state in regards to his podcast. If you look, and I'll show you here shortly. If you look, he was doing a podcast in a professional studio, like a vocal booth. We all know that that's not somewhere where you do a podcast at, right? To be one of the biggest podcasts in the world. So that doesn't speak to Joe Budden's character. Again, I only speak about the information. That speaks to the state of the business. This is right before he started to get money. And I always tell y'all, Charlamagne alley-ooped him. Charlamagne gave him every inch of whatever star power he had and congregated with him as many times as he could to uplift his brand. And then Joe, for some reason, started taking shots at him. They have a weird relationship. I don't know. I think it's something that content creators need to take a look at, because unfortunately that kind of breeds what makes people stop helping each other. I also want to be clear on this conversation that Charlamagne The God is actively on the Breakfast Club at this moment, coming off of the Birdman moment, the top radio show in the market, millions of dollars on the line for talking each year. Also is operating with loudspeakers. Shout out to Chris Monroe at the time in which he had Tax Stone and a bunch of different people integrated with the brand. Andrew Schultz. He's doing a high level business already at this moment when Joe Budden is doing his podcast in a vocal booth. And the only reason I cite that is because I want you to understand that the high level jujitsu is for Joe Budden to sit next to Charlamagne and make him his opponent in the eyes of the people that's watching. That's why when he comes out, he's clear on, you said this, and I want to talk about my gripes with you, and him and Maul might go to talking. Him and Rory might go to talking. No, I want to focus on what you said about me and what I think about you. He's creating the 48 laws of power says you must have an opponent. And if you don't have one, create one. So he's creating the illusion that, hey, if I'm your opponent, then they at least think I'm on your level. It's high level jujitsu. He's trying to plant the podcast in a place. So I feel him. I see what he's doing now. Charlamagne also has a book out, a bestseller. This is at this moment when Joe Budden is doing a podcast in a vocal booth. Charlamagne is there, right? So again, when they talk about their little scuffle that they have, I'm always interested in how it happened, why it happened, because from an outside looking in perspective, he's did everything to launch whatever career that you currently have. And the place you sit in comes from him being generous with those. At that time, if Charlamagne wasn't saying that about many people, oh, you're great at this. Hey, you're super hard. You're good at this. That's important in this space. Those kind of cosigns in public. I'm pretty sure Rogan tells a lot of people they're great off air. It's a select amount of people on air he'll come on and say those things. So let's listen to a little bit of it and then we'll leave that. And I know that too, right? If you study these guys, right, you have a good sense of what they may do and how they feel based on what they've done. It's called rate of travel. I look at what you have done and consider what you will do. You understand me? So when you look at some of those things, I couldn't disagree with that. Let's listen to a little bit more. So again, I just want to play that just to kind of give some context on some of the things that I think Maul is going to reference. I think they never saw that coming, because while Joe was falling out with everybody else, Maul was still there. While Joe was getting into it with people and falling out and being sued and going to jail or whatever, Maul was there. We hear the stories all the time on the pod. So I know Maul hurt him. Right now, the pod, when I listen back at those kind of episodes, as good as Ish is, I've always said in my perspective, the way that Ish pods and the way that his mind works, it's going to be rare that Joe gets to play isolation, and that's where he's most effective. When I look at Ice, he's now even getting to the point where he's telling people live on air, hold on. Stopping their point, stopping the conversation and taking that forefront. And for those of you that don't pod or don't understand content creating, you may not understand what that does to the flow. When you do something, you got to work to people's strengths. When you see 85 South Show and you see how they're able to go in and out, when you see Big Facts go in and out with each other, when you see Breakfast Club in and out, Wallow and Gilly in and out, B Marshall, I Am Athlete in and out, Ocho Cinco, right? When you see Nori in and out, they know how the rhythm of this thing is working. As good as Ish is podcasting and as much information that he has, I think his brain probably won't allow Joe to go on those isolation rants where he can kind of get it off. Because when he sees something, he's going to react. When it doesn't make sense, he's going to react. Rory and Maul were professional pocket players over there. Professional role players, but they were high power. Because they knew when, all right, Joe is on his 20-minute thing. Let's sit back. If we see him stumbling, add a sentence and then sit back. Like, that's a skill set right there. Everybody think it's just sitting down talking. Now everybody can't talk at the same time. Somebody got to forward the conversation, and you got to have charitable donations. You can't just be talking. And that's what's happening with a lot of podcasts, right? And so the format of the show now, I think, is suffering. You got Ish that can pod at a high level. You got Joe, which is he's a podder at an extreme high level. You got Ice, that's a great podder. But the format is, I don't know, man. When you look back, Joe used to have 20-minute rants. He don't have those anymore. Joe probably at maximum get to talk 3 minutes without interruption. With Rory and Ma and them, sometime he get to go. With that Spotify thing happen, he was gone. That's one of his classic things. When he had to address Charlamagne, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, he was gone. And they was involved here and there, but that's what his strength is, and they got to play to that. Now I'm going to send an invoice to the JBP team, and hopefully they can cut the check for that consulting. So with that being said, Maul went over to a podcast, shout out Smoke Dizzle, and he spoke about his relationship with Joe Budden, how it started. He spoke about a couple of things. We're going to play a little bit of it, and we'll come back and give some game.
Like anybody that know me, I'm super laid back. I talk to my people, my circle. I've never been loud, you know what I mean? So the fact that now I talk for a living or lifestyle is funny. It's like
hilarious.
It's just letting you know you could plan and you could say, yo, this is what I do, but you just never know what life is going to hand you. You know what I mean? And I had a podcast years ago that I was doing. It's funny. It was up actually at Sirius XM, up at Sirius. We was recording up there. We used to do it every Sunday, and it was a group of us, maybe like 4 or 5 of us. And
with its up there podcast,
2012 maybe. It was hard to get people to agree to do something for free every Sunday. I was back home. I was back in the city, and that's when Rory and homie called me and was like, "Yo, we want you to be a guest on the show." And I was like, oh, "Okay, cool. I'll come kick it with y'all and all that." So went, kicked it. Everybody loved the episode. It was one of the best ones. They said it was like the response was amazing.
Facts.
And then the next week came and they called me again like, "Yo, what's up? You free to record tomorrow?" Like I was like, "Yeah, I'll come kick it." And then after that, that's when the conversation started of, yo, we could really, if we really lock in and build this shit, we could really do something special here. Like, so it was just all about, was I willing to lock in and really dedicate the time and build that? And, it was a simple conversation.
So again, this is Maul just explaining his entry into the Joe Budden podcast.
Let's create something here. Let's push it. And ultimately we did. And, we ended up creating a lane for a lot of other podcasts and just showing people that, yo, it's possible.
Facts. Wow.
If nothing else, it's possible. Sometimes you got to be the first one to go through the door to be like, yo, it's lit in here, nigga, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what we did. And it was special. We had some good times on there, man. But, unfortunately, egos and things got in the way. And, well, not egos, and ego got in the way. And, it caused that whole demise. But, there's, today I'm in a better space with that mentally. You know what I'm saying? But a few months ago I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I was in a different place. But, everything happens for a reason. And I can't be, now looking back at where we are, where Rory and myself stand today and where we are and what we built today and what we have, coming down the pipeline.
It had to happen.
It had to happen. You know what I'm saying? And in all reality, it's like, I always knew homie was, what type of time he was on. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw things coming up with him. And it was like, I wouldn't move like that. That ain't even, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, why would you do that? That's unnecessary. So it was destined to happen, is what I'm saying, because it was always there. It was always, hints of things happening, and it was just like it. I was just mad at the fact that it was like, damn, like we really got something though. But again, everything happened for a reason. Life is beautiful, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed. And I can't. There's no second guessing what happened to me.
Nah.
That's why today I'm in a better space mentally. You know what I'm saying? Months ago though.
Now, if you're listening to what's being said, right? He's basically letting you know why things imploded. Money was taken, for just lack of a better term, or however all that dancing is. Money was taken. Again, I explained that when the first check came through with Spotify, they kind of just took his word, I guess, based on their communication. All right, the splits is this. We owe this much. This time, if that 30 million come through, we'll get this kind of split, which may be why Joe Budden was uncomfortable with the deal. I won't get as much as I probably was looking to get. And plus, I got to run the business. It'll cost this much and this and that, you know. And so it got weird real quick because it took off fast and Joe started to do other things, which how do you account for that in this business, right? So let's say I work for Pepsi. And then me working for Pepsi, now I'm working for Revolt, and I'm working for Complex, and I'm working for Black Effect, and I'm working for Sirius XM, and I'm working for House of Athletes, right? How do I then say, all right, when we first did our contract, I wasn't working with none of them, but now I got all of these, so I need to account for that. But when we look at that number from Spotify, I get the same cut as you guys, or a little bit more. Like, nah, I think I'm bringing more of the audience. I think what the confusion was is they were having our audience conversation. Who brought the audience? Who's bringing the audience? And I think in the content world, you don't have those conversations. Let me give y'all some game. In the content world, the conversations you need to have is who's sustaining the audience. You can get them there. You can literally pay to get the eyes your way, but who's keeping them watching? Who's responsible for that? How do you quantify that? How do you even find that out? Right? So that's some of the things you have to think about when you enter this game. Let's look at it a little more.
It was dark. It was real dark.
See, but I always knew y'all was going to spin out on top of the situation. Everybody, all parties, it was going to work for because, you know, you guys got your own identities. So it was easy to just go do your own thing. Y'all
but see, Smoke. That's the thing though, and that was one of the things that bothered me when the separation happened. Was certain things that was being said. You know, it was like, nah, they can't do that. You know, oh, they gonna fall on their face, you know. And I'm just like...
You said that?
Listen, man, you know...
things that was being said.
It was things that was said.
Allegedly.
Nah, if I'm here, it's no alleged. I'm telling you straight from these are things that was said. You know what I mean? And you can run the tapes back. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was for me. It was like... It's like, damn, homie, you know me, though. Like, it don't gotta go that route. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to lie and fabricate to the people. Just say what it is, because once you give it to the people as what it is and let them dissect it, they'll know. You know what I mean? And it's like I said, you could just it's all on audio. Do the track. You
feel like he was trying to violate your character?
But he know he can't, man, because if you know our relationship, right, you know, he can't violate my character. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's why I didn't understand things that was being said, because it's like, oh, it's cool. Business is over, obviously, right? That's all right. That's fine. It happens. But don't turn it into something else. Don't turn it into some fake, you know, soap opera shit. You know what I'm saying? I never want to be a part of that. Like, I'm not mad at things falling out and, you know, falling apart, as long as it's real. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted it to be. And it's like, yo, but just tell the people what really happened. But then we didn't even have to tell the people, because people started compilating the videos and putting things together that was being said and things we were saying, like, oh. And it's like, anybody that know me know I'm not falling out with no homies over no paper. Like, that's not even I'm not from that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, look at the videotape. The footage is there.
I mean, I seen plenty mashups.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the footage is there. It's like, I'm not.
So it was over money.
It was over. Ultimately, money was the issue, but it wasn't the issue. And when I say that, meaning like, money was taken from Rory and myself. It just is what it is. Like, we ain't got to act like money was taken. Rory and myself, we knew that. But we homies, so I'm not even tripping. I'm just like, bro, we gonna get it right. We gonna fix it. Don't worry about that. Let's just keep doing what we doing. But it gets to a point where, as a man, you like, all right, dog, I'm not stupid. And I can't sit here and keep acting like I'm stupid. Like, because now I don't even want to be in this room. So we started having conversations like, yo, bro, let's just make it right. And then again, when you approach people that's doing wrong, they get defensive. Right. And then when they have an ego attached to that, it's like a combination for just a bad, you know, situation. So it's like, you can't be wrong and loud. The you got to be humble. You got to be quiet. You got to tuck your tail a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't be wrong and start pounding on your chest. Like, because now we looking at you like, yo, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? So it was just, in that sense, it was unfortunate that it had to happen like that. But, you know, it is what it is. And we tried to, Rory and myself dealt with it for a couple years, bro. Like, this wasn't just an overnight thing. This was like 2 years.
But I have to ask a question, man. Like, do you agree that it's his business?
No. Because we signed a contract before there was any business at all.
You hear Maul speak, and the only thing that comes to my mind is he believes he's dealing with an enemy. He believes that dude's approach, and I'm fans of both the guys, but I examine the information for a living. But he thinks his approach is one of an enemy. And you know there's a saying that says, you don't lose friends. You just realize you never had any. I always tell people, man, if they talking to me about you, they'll talk to you about me. Right? At some point, though, we hope people change, man. And I don't know Joe to have done anything to these guys in that facet, but alleged from them, money was taken. I think Joe is a great speaker. He's a great podcast. I think his draw is one of the biggest in the game. As you see, he's carrying that pod over there with the homies. I think it's unfortunate in the way that crumbled. And I think it blindsided him in a way that sucked all the air out of him. I think he's still going, but I think he's on autopilot. I think that was a blow, man. Y'all don't understand how deep I think that blow was. That blow with Maul in particular. It was Maul. It was never Rory. It was Maul, man. I think he would have even fixed it with Maul, but Maul came with Rory. Maul was like, no, if this is us, I think he would have reached out to Maul see, this is what, in my opinion, happened. When the breakup happened, Joe instantly like, yo, Rory's ran with Maul. That offended him, which his pride wouldn't allow him to reach out to Maul and tell him, yo, what are we doing, brother? His pride wouldn't allow him to do that. I don't know who's right or wrong, but I know pride is like, yo, you ran with the white boy, man. I'm done. Now done went too far. Now the conversation isn't available. I think they had something special, man. I think they really understood the structure of how the conversation needed to flow. And maybe these guys will be able to do the same. But I think Ish is more like a mic. You know, I think he needs a small 2-3 dribbles and an alley-oop. You know, some people you really got to create their take, right? You got to drive them all the way almost right to their point and then pass it to him and let him get his little point off. Ish is able to do what we able to do, where it's like you able to create your, all right, I want to go there with it, so I'm going to come through here with, go through there, say this, make that point, come back through here. It's going to be hard for Joe to, and he also knows Joe. I think that relationship is a quite different dynamic between Ish and Joe and Maul and Joe. I think Maul just kind of knew how to part a little different than Ish. And Ish is more of an A mic, and Maul is more of he's comfortable being a B mic. He can probably be an A mic too, but I think he's more comfortable, or he can thrive in the B mic spot as well. Let's listen to a little more. It's deep, man.
Building it, we agreed on a percentage. And and actually looking back, Rory and myself, our lawyer said we shouldn't have took that deal. They was like, you shouldn't sign this contract. Our lawyer we was like, nah, man, don't worry about it. We're signing.
Separate lawyers?
Well, Rory and myself had the same lawyer.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So she was like, yo, this ain't, like, I wouldn't do it if I was y'all. Like, is this your friend? Because this is not a contract that a friend would put on the table for his friends. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, we building something. Fuck it, let's do it. You know what I mean? But in that, you know, it's like, I don't think that he expected us to get the check that we got. You know what I'm saying? So then now, you know, just let's just be real. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna give this to you because this is your platform and you my guy. Just look at it like you had an artist that was, you know, chasing a certain level of fame and success through music. Wasn't able to really get to where he felt like maybe, you know, because you know how it is. Niggas got egos and feel like I'm better than that nigga. I should be more popping than that nigga. I rap better than him. But you was never really quite able to get there. So you got there and you started getting invited into these rooms with these people that you looked up to through podcasting. But you got your homies with you. So it's not just you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, this is us. We built this, bro. Like, we actually serve as the buffer to the shit that a lot of people don't even like you and don't really like talking to you, but we make it kind of easy for them to because we in the room and it's, you know, it's just, it was a great mix. Niggas ain't really fuck with you, and that's documented. We ain't got to go through that. Niggas ain't really fuck with you, but through the podcast shit and with me and Rory, it kind of made it an easier conversation because you got two niggas next to you that's, all right, his ego is crazy. He
was always blogging though, not to cut you off.
No, he was definitely doing that.
Yeah.
I don't take
You was
nothing away
around
from
for
him.
that. You was around.
All right, so basically, if you paid attention to what Maul is saying, he's basically calling Joe Budden a rap game reject. And although that's a harsh thing to say, when he said it, it took me down a path. And I said, oh my goodness. See, boy, when you live in the house, you know what a roof leaking, boy. People ride by the house, don't know what a roof leaking, boy. When you live in the house, you know what a roof leaking. So when Miles said that, I instantly got to thinking, oh my God. Not saying that's true, but think about that. Think about the approach of, I don't want to talk to none of you dudes. I don't want you dudes on my like, think about it now. Oh, y'all need me now. I even hear Gilly sometimes say, oh, y'all need me now. And I get it. Because they write you off. And then they expect you to write home. You understand? It's an unfortunate circumstance they place you in. But it's like when he said that, I said, oh my goodness. Imagine you just left this gym. Imagine you been on the sideline in this gym. They let you in here and there, but they don't pass you the ball. They barely, you know, all they want you to do is keep running screens for people. And they just keep calling the screen for you. You don't never get you wide open in your opinion. They ain't gonna never throw you the ball. You in a situation where you can't get it going. And you get one in, you get in, and you boom, you get the dunk, and then and they still won't throw it back. And that dunk is, let's say you got a record that went like Pump It Up. Let's say you went to the top, boom, pump it up. You going now, yeah. And then they still stop throwing you the ball. 10, 15 years down the road after struggling, getting 2,500 a show, needing to move out here, going out here, trying to get a deal, trying to get a feature, trying to clear a record, trying to get in and explain to people, hey man, I'm still got it. I know what I'm doing. I need a budget. Nobody opens the door. Everybody closed the door. Nobody believes in it. All of a sudden, you podcast, the podcast working. Some of them same people that's working X at those labels. Hey, Joey, how are you? Can my artists come through? Maul is saying that he hate these people. Maul is saying that these people rejected him, treated him bad. And now he won't help a soul. I think it's unfortunate, but it's something to think about. How would you feel in an industry that rejected you? You proving yourself once, maybe twice, did good here and there. You feel as though you rap at a high level. You got a reputable name. They sent me over here to do reality TV. They got me somewhere in therapy, couples therapy on television. They got me fighting Consequence at a Love and Hip Hop reunion show and proposing in the middle of New York, Times Square. Now I'm popping. I done went multi. Now everybody want to talk to me. Would you talk to him? I don't feel a way. I always say my hustle is my hustle. But I also understand that the teeth don't bite unless they all work together. And so you got to work together with the people. And so every time I think about why you take that stance where you don't want to talk to people, I wonder, damn, man, it come from his buddy. And it's just something to think about. Let's listen to a little more.
nothing away from him at all. I'm just saying what we did together. And then before any business came to the table, we had a contract, an agreement on percentages with each other. Before any check came through the door.
I understand.
You understand what I'm saying? This is before any money was involved. Like, we had a conversation, us three, and was like, yo, this is what we doing. Take this percentage. Like, our lawyer was like, yo, y'all getting robbed. Straight up. She was like, y'all getting robbed. Like, there's no other co-host this ain't even a real co-host percentage right here. You know what I'm saying? But we was like, yo, don't worry about it. Because we homies, or so we thought. I'm not going to let business stop us from doing some groundbreaking shit. Nah, I'll take the L on that. Because I know whatever's for me is going to be for me anyway. Clearly. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, don't worry about it, man. Like, let's just keep it going. Let's push. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. We agreed to that. So once we locked in at this number, it's like, it don't matter if it's $100 million or $100. Like, we got to get that percentage of that check.
Right.
So like I said, when you was chasing something as a, you know, in your other career for so many years, but you never really attained that. But now you're able to have these conversations with these artists that don't really like you, but they'll talk to you as a podcaster. They'll never give you a verse, but they'll talk to you as a podcaster. These executives that would never talk to you as an artist, but they'll talk to you as a podcaster. Because you have a show and you have something here with your homies that people is like, okay, I like this. I like this energy they got. I like this chemistry they got. These conversations, cool. But again, the ego was like, and I can imagine if I'm an artist at one point in my career and I know this artist wouldn't talk to me and now this artist wants to talk to me, like, I would still look at them type of way. Like, I asked this nigga for a verse 10 years ago, he never gave it to me. But here he is hitting my phone because he got a hell of a point right there. He want to sit on my platform and talk about it. So I understand where the
really
ego,
thought this out.
You know what I'm saying? As men, but part of being a man is being able to control your emotions. You see what I'm saying? And control your ego. We all got ego.
That's a fact.
I got a dick too, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
You got nuts too.
I'm dealing with it right now.
Always dealing with it, nigga.
My chick Curb. I don't give a fuck about you or my ego. I'm talking about my chick.
That's something to think about, man.
But we all do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't let that shit get in the way of my relationship with my homies. That's corny. I'm not gonna put my ego on my homies. Like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So we had a situation where, like I said, we had an agreement. And we stuck to that. We don't have nothing else to talk about because we already got an agreement with each other on percentages. So I'm like, nigga, I ain't tripping. Like, I know what we got in paper, in ink. You know what I'm saying? Signed. Like, lawyer there, everything. It's legit. So it's like, I'm not even whatever. If you tell me, yo, they just gave us a check for $500,000, I'm like, I bet. I know what percentage I'm getting from that.
Right.
So I'm not even. We don't need to see the exact numbers or accounting because it's like we homies, bro. I'm not ever gonna be like, yo, let me see the accounting with my man. You know what I'm saying? I understand business is business, but you know, it's also like, yo, but bro, before business, it's like, nigga, you my man. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. Like, you my man, dog. If this shit fall down tomorrow, we still gonna go get something to eat and talk shit together. Like, so what are we really talking about? You know what I mean? But like I said, I understand where egos became inflated. And, you know, like I said, you chasing something your whole life and you finally get it. It's hard to kind of share it with motherfuckers that you feel like didn't suffer some of that, you know, the depressing nights with you. And, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. I understand. But it's like, fam, we already have this agreement. No matter, and you the one that drew it up. See, that's the crazy part about it. You the one that drew it up, and you don't want to honor it.
He's speaking about
it's like, all right, fam. Like, what you want us to do at this point? It was a bogus deal that we shouldn't have signed. First of all, we got a bullshit percentage, and now you don't even want to give us the fair end on the percentage that you drew up. Like, enough is enough, bro. I'm a man at the end of the day. Like, what you doing? Like, now you just trying to spin me. You know what I'm saying? And I can't let that happen, bro. Like, it was too many people in my corner that was looking at me like, yo, you would have been cut homie off.
I hear Maul, and I hear him speak about, you know, rap game reject and kind of being happy to be there. I don't get that feel from Joe, the happy to be there feel. I think that you got to ask yourself a tough question when you deal with some of these things, right? When you deal with a certain amount of building, all these people put sweat equity in. I asked one time, who's more important, the person that designs the house or the people you hire to build the house? Right? So that's always a question that it's always out there lingering. Like, who's who's really worth what. And in our culture, unfortunately, it's a misunderstanding between talent and executive. Because we're in such a new territory, and sometimes those roles overlap, we're dealing with people that's calling themselves executive when they're merely talent. It's an uncomfortable conversation, right? To tell people, no, when you leave here talking, I still have to work on this. And it may sound cliche and you may think that it's just me talking, but every day, every hour, every minute, I'm thinking about the next move. If you see me on the beach, ask them people. I got some shit with me where I can work at any moment. I might just flash out. I'm tired of being on the beach. What my computer? Let me get out. Because I'm involved with number one, a new infrastructure. I need to really treat this like the gold rush. I need to really understand the position that I'm in, and that my children and their children and their children and their children and their children may not get the opportunity to hustle in the same capacity. Crypto may not be here. Crypto may not be birthed in that time. There may be ramifications for stepping outside of the boundaries, scribbling outside of the lines, right? And so while I have the ability to do so, I got to put one foot in front of the other. And when I hear about money, I tend to think about money is the root of all of us falling out. That's why when people call me like, hey, yo, Loon, I want to help you with your part. I don't even want nothing. It means so much. Because I know the money will make you tell me some things. I know we all good at talking, so these dudes might can talk me into believing a few things when there's money involved. So I keep my head on a swivel. When you do things genuinely, you understand that. Now, I also say, all right, Loon, talk about mom's spaghetti. Here's the only chance you get to fix your generational curse. Here's the one chance. Matter of fact, you might think here's the second chance. I will never get another one. You ever seen a dog eating a bone? He don't care nothing about nobody else. At that particular moment, that dog, even if his eyes is looking up at you, he eating that bone like you better stay from away, because he eating like he may not never get another meal. And sometimes you dealing with us, especially a rapper that come out the rap game, $1 billion industry, and leave that industry broke. You left $1 billion industry with nothing, and they expect you not to scramble like eggs when the money come in. I think it's unfortunate, but I know the gravity associated with everybody in the family depending on me to make this work. Everybody around is depending on me to make this work, and they just gave us 20 million. I got to get these two. What? And why? They just come and talk. No, we don't talk. We executives. But for Joe, they had it written up that way. But I'm telling you, in our culture, man, as we're building this podcast industry, this content industry, this subsection of media that's going to be bigger than media, we got to identify the difference between talent and executive. And that's why we got to bring that camera out. I was telling B. Marshall, film everything. Because they don't know what go into this. They think we just pull the camera out and go to talking. They think it looks so easy, anybody can do it. And that's why I'm critical of my brother Wallow. I seen the other day on Instagram, he posted, yo, here's a multi-million-dollar situation. He had 4 mics, the roadcaster, a camera, a couple of things, right? A couple $1,000. You can make millions. Just believe. I'm like, yo, man, we can't do that to him. Although that's true, but we bending it. As much as I want all of us to get in this space and be effective, but effective is the operative word. So we got to talk to them about knowing what to say. What is a niche? How to find a niche. See, these specifics we got to talk about. Okay, great. Go buy all this, bro. Didn't do what? I just spent my rent money on this. Bro, tagging them. Bro, you said just buy this. Bro, what can I do? That's why I say it need niggas like me to come and reiterate and repeat. Yo, you can go get all that stuff. You better know how to approach the market. You better know what you're talking about. But even on top of that, you got to know that people will make ill-advised decisions. They'll take their rent money and go buy that equipment and talk about what? See, you got to know how to approach things. You got to know how to approach things. We got to tell them how to approach things. Say, what you like, bro? That's your niche. How you get into that? What's SEO? What's CPM? Where to put it? How to get it there? Right? You can't just say, buy this stuff, bro. I get it. I see what you're doing, right? I get it. But I'm saying, we got to be a little more clear when we talk to each other, not because we don't believe what we saying, is because we in a new industry and don't nobody know how to approach it. So whatever little bit we got to try to be, yeah. You know, when they look at me in podcasts, bro, I do this every week for hours. Give a lot of game about a lot of different things. I'm persistent with this. I'm a go-getter with this. I got to. So for me, I get what he's saying. You don't have to tell me much, but we dealing with people that's only looking at their phone. So we got to get them out, damn near lead them to the water. And he still can't make them drink. We got to lead them to the water and not be disappointed if they don't drink. That's the pressure on us because of the age we live in. The river cuts through a rock not because of his strength, but because of his persistence. How it slip on through that. You ever seen that? But imagine Joe Budden sitting with Rory and Maul. The only time he get to break generational curse, mama might be looking at him like, yo, you blew the music bag. Family looking at, that's a lot of pressure. And I've worked hard. A lot of these people are coming to see me, but they are allowing me a runway. Loon do a podcast by itself. I know how hard it is. They laying it up for you, getting out the way, letting you shine, doing that. That's helpful. That's fruitful. And you were leveraging that for everything else. Take the L on that, in my opinion. But who am I to say? I don't know how it broke down. I don't know what they were asking, what was happening. We'll get into that at some other point. But it's unfortunate to have that pressure on you of breaking everybody off. Mama waiting. She said we just sparring with Spotify. Mama waiting. Baby mama waiting. Kids waiting. Family waiting. Everybody waiting. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting to get the big house with the big beams. The 14,000 square foot motherfucker. I'm waiting. So everybody waiting. Now the chick come and these dudes, but that's the percentage. When you real, you got to rock with the percentage. Let's listen to a little more.
Doing, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, all right, let me have the conversation. And that's when the conversation started happening. And we, Rory and myself, we just knew what it was. And it was like, you know where this is headed. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, already.
As a fan, I was watching and I knew what it was.
Yeah, because
I didn't even want to see it happen.
Nobody
right?
did.
We didn't want to see it happen. Like I said, we was dealing with that. We put it on the back burner for 2 years, bro. We was asking to see, the logistics of the business and the accounting for almost 2 years. And we tried everything, man, because we didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, that was fam at one point. That was my, like, me and we lived together. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and this nigga lived together. Like, so it's like, bro, like, I got you out of serious situations. We in Sin City, niggas is ready to bomb on you. And I'm in front line and, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, hold, chill. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm jumping out there. I could have got my shit ripped and all kind of shit fucking with you. But you my man, so I'm not going to let it go down like that. So when we talk about business now, and you start doing sucker shit, I'm looking at you like, bro, you know this is me. Like, what you doing? I don't care about none of this shit enough to do no sucker shit to my friends. Like, I'm not doing sucker shit to my friends, bro. And yeah, I seen him say shit, oh, don't tell me who my friend. So maybe he don't feel like we was friends. But he can't never say I wasn't a friend to him. It's documented what I did for you, bro. These niggas, anybody that was around you back, they know, like, nigga, nah, Marley, nah, bro. That's your man. Like, the niggas that called me when that whole shit happened, they was like, bro, like, I never thought that would happen. And I'm just like, nigga, you like I tried to avoid it. You know what I mean?
hate to say this.
Nah, because look, we all have awkward conversations. You can have awkward friend conversations, right?
You need to.
Because you need to in order to get past it. Even awkward.
See, when the money's involved, man, with this podcast thing, it being a new space, don't nobody really know what it's worth. Like, people say do it by yourself like it's an easy thing. You can try it and see what happens. That co-host is a crutch.
Because we all thinking it. You know what I'm saying? And we all thinking it. It's just that somebody actually said it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what happens a lot with friends. You know, we all kind of thinking the same shit. That's why we friends. We kind of think alike. We got similarities and shit and point of views. But I just think with us, you know, when the money came into play, you know, it was more money than any of us ever seen. You know what I'm saying? So I think, you know, that kind of became a little, that's where the relationship was tested. You know what I'm saying? It's like they say, you know, you want to know who your friends are, put a bunch of money on the table and just sit there. Everything gonna be revealed. You know what I'm saying? A nigga gonna show you how much he think you worth. A nigga gonna show you what he think about you. You know what I'm saying? A lot to be revealed, and it's true. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because, you know, with Rory and myself now, we laugh at the way that we have some of these negotiations and these deals. It's like, bro, this is the easiest shit in the world when two niggas just totally get it and on the same type of shit mentally and then as far as morals and integrity. Like, me and Rory don't have no contract with each other. We got a handshake. And we got an LLC together.
Old school.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? He called me, yo, they want to do this, da-da-da, what you think? I'm like, yo, if you want to do it, I'm rocking with you. Let's go. If you don't want to do it, fuck them. It ain't no long, you know what I'm saying? So when niggas try to put all that bullshit in the game, it takes time. Niggas just don't want to do it, bro. Niggas be putting a lot of bullshit in the game and, oh, yo, that nigga, he ain't call you. He called you back, nigga. Cut it out, man. Like, what's going on? Because y'all playing these games. I don't play those games.
Damn, it was all of that going on?
Oh, man, it was nasty, bro. It was, like I said, man, there was so much shit going on that, you know, it was unfortunate. But, again, man, looking back to where we landed, bro, I'm not, you know, I know why it happened. It had to.
I wonder if it's any coincidence that after Joe put that out, that he's number 30-something in the world.
Beautiful. Like, I think we had some dope. I thought we had some. I grew up looking at Video Music Box. I thought what we was doing was just as special to the culture.
That's a fact.
Absolutely.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So yeah, that, you know, that bothers me because I think that ego got in the way of history. But I know what's on the way now, and I know what's happening now. So,
I mean, after all of that, I mean, do you still respect Joe for at least starting the platform? And
that's the end of the question.
I mean, yeah, starting.
No.
I mean,
No.
you kept it real.
I don't respect him at all.
You never shake his hand again.
Shake his hand. I'll shake the room before I shake his hand, bro.
Damn.
That's just what it is. I mean, you know, because like I said, it's not even about the business or the money. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. So it's a lot of money, bro, that me and Rory walked away from. It's a lot of money that was taken out of our pockets. It's a lot of money that we still to this day, we don't have no lawyers going after it. Keep it. We got our own bag. But with that money that we walked away from, and with that, you know, what was owed to us that we walked away from, that was also me walking away from a relationship and a chapter of my life that once I walk away, you know, that door never opens again because it takes a lot to get me to that point. So once I'm near, it's over. You know what I mean? It's over. And it's just like I said, it ain't beef. Like it ain't beef. Like, because that was really my friend at one point. So it's not beef. I don't have beef, bro.
Right.
Bro, listen, I don't have beef. I don't have beef with nobody. I always say I'm not beefing.
It's just a falling out.
I'm not beefing with nobody black. I always say it, bro. I'm not doing it. But, you know, my number ain't changed, but niggas know they can't hit that line. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not changing my number. I got the same numbers for 15 years. Certain people just know they don't have access to me, though. You still got my number, but you don't have access to me. You know it's going to be awkward if you call my phone. You know it's going to be awkward if you text me. Like, so people ain't going to even do it. So it's like, you know, do I respect him? No. Do I think that he's intelligent? Yes. Do I think that he's a creative? Yes. Do I think that he's done some good things with his life? Absolutely. Do I think as an MC is he dope? Yes. as a man, I'm just cut different, bro. I don't mix with that. You know what I'm saying? I can't fuck with people that move like that. You gotta have integrity, bro.
It's unfortunate to see that he say, yo, I'll shake the room before I shake his hand. Them dudes were cool. A lot of money at stake. Business. It's business, man. It's business. When I see people go through these public falling outs like in this podcast space, when I look at like Joe Budden or maybe B. Marshall, because I even see a lot of clips of B. Marshall's counterparts or old co-workers or whatever they are, co-hosts to I Am Athlete. Shout out B. Marshall. They're speaking a lot. Maul speaking, you know, people speaking, right? And it's like it's their story so they can speak, but I wonder what it feels like on the flip side to see your name and know like, and then don't respond or keep it pushing. It's like that's player. But to me, that's hard to do. As they were building Maul up, Charlamagne, again, will reference that interview where Charlamagne came into Joe Budden Podcast and he spoke just a little bit about Maul's position in the podcast space and what he added to the show. Let's listen to what he said.
Don't have no. I'm talking about they hustle for everything. You know, they got a 9 to 5 and some other shit they into. You know what I'm saying? And they, you know, but they'll give me the shirt off their back if I ask them. And then I got niggas that's, you know, wealthy that'll do the same though. So it's like it's no in between with me. Like I don't care about. Like I said, it was about money, but it wasn't about money. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It was more so integrity and, you know, you lying to your friends and you stealing from your friends. And then it's just, you know,
you felt you got
ego.
played.
Yeah, it's like, yo, how you throw your... I just don't understand throwing your ego on your homies. Like, that shit is weird to me, bro. Like, I just...
Nah, I don't
understand that. I'm just not...
I mean, I tease these niggas all day. But
yeah, that's what we do as friends.
Like, we still,
you ain't going, you know, you ain't going to get a nigga jacket and then when the chicks come in the room say, yo, don't spill nothing on my jacket.
Oh my!
See?
That's dirty game.
See?
Hold up.
I don't even want. Don't even.
No. Come on, I'm all talking, bro. We potting.
See?
We potting. No.
This is your shit. You look.
Nah, we potting because bro. I watch these niggas, bro. Every episode.
You couldn't wait. I know, my nigga.
I can talk about this nigga.
I know.
All the views I give these niggas. This nigga owe this shit to me, nigga. I was a part of that money they was getting, nigga. I was a reason, nigga. On the home on the couch, nigga.
I was a reason.
You know what I'm saying? Fired from the job, nigga. I'm like this, nigga.
That nigga said I was a reason.
You right, nigga.
Nigga said I'm fired from my job. I'm
for real. Like I was subscribed to everything, nigga. Like I was really watching this shit.
Nah,
like
that ass though, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Lying,
so I could even go back to an episode. I'm gonna keep it on. Nah, he's talking. So it was Charlamagne was on the episode. You know that famous episode, Charlamagne, you and Rory and Joe. Mm-hmm.
Start right.
Charlamagne kind of said this was gonna happen, brother.
He did. Charlamagne also said something else in that episode too. He said this shit didn't start popping until Maul came on. Right? And you know, if looking at how everything happened now, you could just see, you know, certain individuals' body language when he said that. And how he cut right into a whole different conversation coming off of that. It was kind of like, nah, don't give him that. So, you know what I mean? A lot of things start to, you know, make sense, man. And it's just unfortunate, bro, because like I said, I'm never in nothing with my homies for a check. You know, even with me and Rory, like, we didn't know what the fuck we was going to do. You know, and Rory was, you know.
So again, he's talking about the infamous video where Charlamagne said that he's the reason that the podcast goes. I'm going to bring y'all into that video. We'll come back with some comments. What Maul was referencing when he said he went right out the conversation and didn't co-sign it. So let's let
Great,
again.
absolutely. He's the
I couldn't wait to fire Marissa.
Thank you.
A whole different kind of Joe Budden back then. But I want to speak to the high-level jiu-jitsu mental games that's happening, right? When you hear Maul reference Charlamagne The God saying that, let's be clear about something. Charlamagne The God is a wizard with this communication thing. And he had a certain amount of love for Joe Budden, and he was co-signing Joe. He was trying to get Joe established and springboard and launched in the media space. Therefore, by him, now, do I believe Charlamagne believed Mal was the missing piece? Yeah, I'm going to say yeah. Mal brought a certain amount of cool to the show. But I want to speak to the babies about the information involved in this encounter. Right? These dudes are so good at what they do. If they know that you're co-signing your young co-host and building them up, they'll go ahead and throw a co-sign in there as well. Right? So knowing you in a hell of a position where you need my fans to look at you a certain way. You need people to look at you a certain way. You just fired the girl. You guys are doing it in a vocal booth. I'm Charlamagne. So I see you building him up. Alley-oop. So sometimes it's doing a solid for what you thought your homeboy was. But if you look at Joe, bro, Joe, you've had a lot of issues with people around you. I'm not sure what that's about. At that time, I would say that some of that, even if Charlamagne believed that he could not say it on air, again, I want you guys to really understand that on air is a different thing. A lot of people call you and say things, and they say a lot behind the scenes. On air is what get the shit rolling your way. So Charlamagne is on air co-signing Mal. In my opinion, some of that was knowing that Joe Budden is building that brand or making that competition, whatever it may be. But I believe that that these dudes understand marketing and stuff from a high level, so they kind of understand that, all right, I see you building them up. Let me incorporate them some kind of way. That's my thought on that. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be back. Let's have a conversation about Kim Porter. For those of you unaware, Kim Porter is the officer that killed Dante Wright. There was a situation where a stop was initiated. Something about an air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror being some sort of infraction, right? And so they wanted to stop. One thing led to another. The young man is in the car. She holler, taser, taser. She shoots. This one is kind of rough on me because it feels like a mistake. Unfortunate for Beloved, though, the mistake isn't without impact. You know, a old mistake of me calling you the wrong name or something like that, you know, that's an old mistake that we need to hurry up and move past. And we don't necessarily need to plant our flags in the ground and go back and forth for a long time about that. But these kind of mistakes that impact not only us, but the social environment, it rips the social fabric more and more. Every time a cop kills someone and it turns out to be a mistake of some sort, it rips the social fabric. It builds the wall that Trump's talking about. While they were worried about the wall on the border, there was a wall being built between the people inside the United States, right? And so every time that happens, the reaction from us is going to always be hurt, wanting revenge, thinking that it was intentional. Because let's be clear, there are situations where we are intentionally being targeted for stops that turn into killings. If you argue that black people are not being stopped at a higher level in these neighborhoods than any other ethnicity, I think you have a real problem with understanding what the data looks like. And for me, when you argue with a clown, you become a part of the circus. But Kim Porter, soon as she shot the guy, she dropped to the ground. I'm going to jail. Oh my God, it's a mistake. She couldn't even stand up. Looked like she was devastated at what took place. And so within the walls of the court, you get in there and certain things happen, right? It's a long, drawn out process in court. They deal with the specifics. The thing about the court, though, they can leave some things out that's very, very, very influential in how the case should be viewed. But then that's when you get into lawyers and how they fight for whatever it is that they do. I was amazed because I looked at it and I seen JT from the City Girls tweet that Kim Porter got the same amount of time as me for fraud. So now I zoom out even more. And I say, damn, man, what system are we in to where these two things are viewed along the same lines, right? How do you go from being told to protect and serve to being paid to train people on how to use a taser instead of a gun and when to do so and when to implement and when to de-escalate? You're the trainer. You've been training people for that. You got a rookie with you because you one of them. You one of the big dogs, right? How do we view that in the same sector as someone taking advantage of a system that's in place? I feel as though, like I say, man, when you deal with the court system, it's broken. When it was all said and done and she got her time, she was able to talk. And she got up there and she wept. I mean, she wept, dog. I'm talking about she was crying, and a lot of people called cap on that. A lot of people said that was fake. I don't believe that was fake crying. I always tell people it ain't about what's happening. It's about why it's happening. You see, a lot of people perspective be off. Oh, you got the right aim, your target just wrong, right? I think she crying for real. Do I think she crying because of what she done or because she got caught? I think the pressure, I think she can really feel that pressure in that moment, and that in itself will make you cry. I'm a police officer on trial in this time for shooting a guy. Like, yo, this is a lot of pressure that'll make you cry, right? And you can mask that as I'm crying because of what happened to beloved, but this pressure is a lot. So again, I didn't look at that and say she was fake crying. I looked at that and said, you wonder why she's crying. But the human is a hell of a design, right? The human brain, those times, because when accountability show up, all the bravado leave. You see guys that, you know, when they was a cop, they had a certain bravado about them, pulling you out the car and you better do it type vibration about them. Then accountability show up, and now they do everything they can to get small, to appear little, right? And I just think that unfortunate for everybody involved, but at this time, we got to view these things with the future in mind. We teaching people how to treat us. We teaching people what'll happen when you pull one of ours out the car and shoot him. When you get it wrong that it was a tail light. It was a tail light out and you got it wrong and you end up killing him. Right? Some of these things are interesting, you know, like I say, man, and I think it needs a strong looking at, in my opinion. So again, she only got 2 years. So the police officer that killed Dante Wright, that got the same amount of time for JT for doing fraud, is at court now about to, I guess, give her closing arguments or her closing statement to the family and to other people. So let's take a look at the officer who killed Dante Wright, who got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls for Fraud, and see what she said at court.
To the family of Dante Wright, I am so sorry that I brought the death of your son, father, brother, uncle, grandson, nephew, and the rest of your family to your home. Katie, I understand a mother's love, and I am sorry I broke your heart.
So you see, that's the lady that,
my heart is broken.
That's the officer that killed Dante Wright. They got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls for doing fraud. We're listening to her live.
You said that I didn't look at you during the trial. I don't believe I had a right to. I didn't even have a right to be in the same room.
And I'm not speaking whether or not these things are sincere. Let me be clear on that. I'm not saying these things are not sincere. I'm questioning why. Because I understand the pressure that go along with that. Now you all alone. See, you was out there 3, 4, 5 cops when the killing go down. Then you end up all alone like they do us all the time. Held accountable for things. But the difference between us and them is we have a harsher sentence, a harsher outlook, a harsher outcome on these things than most of these individuals that's trained not to do some of the things we were never taught.
That one day you can find forgiveness only because hatred is so destructive to all of us. And that I pray peace will always be with you and your family. Again, I am so sorry. And to the community of Brooklyn Center, I do owe you an apology too. I loved working for you.
I believe she's stressed out. I believe she's crying. I don't know though. You know, but I believe that is a cry. I just want to understand where the cry is coming from.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So again, man, what gets more and more clear as I gain more knowledge and as I get older, right? What gets more and more clear is these ain't even magic tricks no more. These people is blatantly in your face doing a lot of these things, treating these things different right in front of our faces. This ain't a thing where they even are doing it behind closed doors. It's right in the front. It's right front and center. And we front row. Here's an officer that killed Dante Wright. They got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls for fraud. And as the judge ended, the judge read off and said some things that caught my attention. The judge said that as she sat up in the middle of the night, she got letter after letter after letter from this, from people that support this lady, Kim Porter, the officer that killed Dante Wright and got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls. But it was interesting to hear her say, I got a lot of letters and I read them all. And I instantly said, hold on, stop right there. Because does that only work when y'all let it work? Because we write letters for a lot of our entertainers, athletes, people that make mistakes. And they don't seem to get the job done. I remember a time Meek had Jay-Z and Michael Rubin and these people in court. And it was ignored. So help me understand when the judge starts to consider those things, right? I know you say bring some character witnesses. I said consider them. Understand this is what I do for a living. I ain't say, it's almost like the Rooney Rule in the NFL where they say, yo, you got to interview a couple of these people. Man, they interviewing you, man. If they can have their phone out and you wouldn't take it offensive, they'll promise you they listening, looking at their phone. You understand? So sometimes it is implemented, but it ain't respected to the point where I've ever heard the judge take it in consideration when a murder was at the hands of someone, right? But I always explain to my homies, right, that the courtroom operate with a certain language. You can think you smart as a tack out here, operating with all that bitch and hoe in your vocabulary. But then you get behind that and everything is in a book and it's a bunch of pages and it's a code to get to a section 2, page T180 of this. Like, yo, it's a code to get in there and say, explain, and everything is in there that you may need to beat your case, or the information you may need to not only beat your case, but present it in a way. Because business is no longer it's about how things are presented. And in the courtroom, it's just big business. So you got to present those things in a way, and dudes are going to courtroom with this hood type game they think they putting down, and it don't translate. You be saying things like, I had one of my homeboys tell me something like, you might hear a dude say, man, you can pass a drug test by, all you got to do, take a little, all you got to do, take a little bitty bottle of bleach, then put it right on your hand, piss on your hand, and let the piss go on your hand to the water. And that right there, you're going to beat the test. Dudes are running, try that on 10 years parole with their probation. Ain't done no kind of research on it, just boom, fade him. Then he say, hey, you dirty. No, I wasn't. It just, you just taking what these guys are saying. So, I don't listen to nobody. I don't believe nobody. I listen to everybody. I don't believe nobody. Right? You got to show me. I keep telling people it's about legacy. It's about who gonna say what about you when it's said and done. Who life you change. Who you help get up, down, through there. and really make something? That's my question. But it's just sad to see that the officer that killed Dante Wright, they got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls for Fraud. You know, she seems to be hurt, but them people can't bring they son back, they father back. The idea that you cry after you kill me, man. You feel me? The idea that these people will cry after they kill you, man. You got to think about the psyche, man. You know, and again, I understand accidents. I know things happen. I'm no longer even talking about the officer that killed Dante Wright. They got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls for Fraud. I'm no longer even talking about her. I'm just talking about the idea that dudes will kill you and then cry to the people about it. The idea that, like even with Honeycomb Braids, a shout out Honeycomb, they say whoever that is was just indicted for killing his grandma, was in prison with him in the cell, rapping and cool. I understand that being in prison with somebody don't make him my homie. Being a seller with somebody don't make him my homie. After a certain amount of time, you probably build a rapport, but if there's any outside influence on how our relationship can be dictated, like there's blood on one side or something like that, we can only be a certain amount of cool. So I don't think that video speaks to, without hearing it, I don't think it speaks to the level of the relationship of the two. It just means they know each other, which, you know, you got to know who I am to know where my granny and them stay. So all those things together, man, shout out to Brazen, man. You know, it's a mean situation. I sent my prayers to him. But we're going to get off of the officer that killed Dante Wright. They got the same amount of time as JT from the City Girls for Fraud. And we're going to see what else we want to talk about today. Coming off Valentine, let me say this to the ladies, right? Let me say this to whoever calls themselves engaging in a relationship or wanting someone to take it to the next level. Baby, make it obvious. See, that's one of my sayings. That's something that I came up with. You know, make it where I got to, you know, when you show up, you add value to whatever the situation is. Make it obvious. I'm going to live without how you do me when we around each other. How you going to live without how I do you when we around each other? And yeah, the peace that we provide each other. Yeah, the platform to excel and prevail we provide each other. How we intertwine and integrate our lives to complement one another. Right? But in my opinion, it's a situation that too many people depend on the past. They think the past can dictate the future. They think that they can tell you, hey, look what I've done, so you can figure out what I'll do in the future, when in the present moment I'm doing nothing. You see, making it obvious, that's a run-on word. That ain't a word that stops. Obvious speaks to the present moment. So every present moment, you got to deal with that word obvious. It don't speak to, man, you used to make it obvious. You used to make me. Now I said, baby, make it obvious, man. That mean in every present moment, every moment we spend around each other. Do we think that problems gonna come? Problems gonna come. Disagreements is necessary for understanding, which is the best thing to have. How we not gonna disagree? Somebody faking. We ain't come out the same. Somebody faking. And anything faking is gonna fall. And we know that the foundation got to be a certain kind of, you know, structure. So we can't play those games. My thing always being, though, in relationships, that's why you don't never really got to tell a woman, right? Yo, you know, you know, you see what I'm doing, you know. Eventually, you just going to be like, nah, where you at? Why you ain't called me? Why you ain't been around, right? I done made it obvious what it's like next to me. Again, obvious speaks to the present moment. Don't try to lean on the past. Think I'm going to be dumb for what you did in the past for me. Yeah, the past, I'm saying like, yo, I rolled with you. I was with you when you was, you were critical of me too the whole time. But you're critical of me when the lights was dim, cause they ain't gonna never be off if you're a hustler. The lights won't go off. They might get dim. But when the lights were dim for me, you were critical of me. And now that it's bright, everything all right. And you think I'm smart enough to turn shit into sugar, and I ain't smart enough to peep somebody doing something like that while they next to me. It be offensive, with all due respect, because it's like, you see the game we put down. You see the kind of things we figure out we make it through, don't it? You see, I was on TV with blood, with mud on my hand from trying to figure out. You see what I was doing with it, didn't you? And you thought that little game that you running was going to put a blindfold on my eyes like I don't see you using me. I know I'm useless to you people if I'm not resourceful. I'm clear on where we stand. I just want you to be clear on that I'm clear on it. It ain't no tricking dude now. Dude them is too swift. Ain't no tricking them dude. But in relationships, provide something. Spice it up. Keep it spiced. If you're dealing with a dude with a bag, you got to figure out how to make sure to keep him engaged, because everywhere he go, they trying to ask for his algorithm. Yeah, everywhere I go is women asking for my algorithm. How do I tap into that? You understand me? And for me, like I say, when you in these relationships for a long amount of time, man, you got to edit as you go up. The same way you do in business. The same way you do with everything. When you get older, you eat different. You got to work out a little different, right? When you're younger, you can do, it's the same with anything that's aging. And so if our relationship is aging, how foolish of us to ignore the obvious. We got to grow together, though. And a lot of people don't really understand what that looks like. And we need more platforms like this to speak on things like that, because we loving people. Our women love first, our men love last. We both love hard. A lot of times, by the time the dude fall in love, she's falling out of love, and then it's just a vicious thing, right? Takes so long for us to accept not being hurt by someone, right? Take a long time for us to trying to peek over and make sure it ain't this. Am I being punked? As my mother say. Right? You're trying to look and make sure, because you destined for disappointment based on trust. Right? Where we come from, it ain't that much trust hanging around. You understand? So when you bump into somebody with a relationship, you tend to be looking as a man, especially a man with, I don't have the mental room for no more of that. Far as what love does to you, right? When you got to disconnect. Because, see, the problem be that at some point you may have to disconnect, and that disconnection do something to your mind, which does something to your work, which does something to your pay, which does something to your lifestyle, you see? And I can keep going and going and going. And so it take a lot for me to say, all right, come on in. Because I know if I let you in here and I got to kick you out of here, and I'm speaking in metaphors in regards to my love, my personal love, right? I let you in here, and for any reason I got to rip you off and rip you out of there. That's gonna hurt me, and it's gonna do something to you. Not sure if it'll hurt you or how you'll feel about it, but it's gonna do something to me. So I stay guarded. But by the time you find like, all right, I'm starting to let you in, she done had enough for trying to fight through that to figure out if it, so it be a weird thing, and you got to be patient, because love is patient. Love is patient. I tell people, you say you love a person and you interfere with their dreams, or you, like, how you helping them, how you add something. They go for men, women, add something. Every situation I'm a part of, I'm adding something. If you see me, I'm adding something. I get with a girl, I'm adding something. I'm upgrading something. I'm informing something. But we can't be broke trying to date. They say romance without finance don't stand a chance. So we can't be broke trying to date. I'm trying to tell Shawty, I'm going multi-million. I'm here. I was already, You understand? Cool, street cool, cool. But we multi, what we doing? I'm up, I'm at it. What we doing? Let's get it. Right? And I mean that. I don't play with that. I'm more committed than anybody know. You can only be as committed as me. I stamped that. Ain't nobody in the game more committed than me. You can only be as committed as me. And I stamped that. With this podcast thing, it's mine. I own it. I built it. Built, not bought. I built it. It's my business. It's my business when they don't like it. It's my business when they criticize it. It's mine when they critical of it. It's still my business. It belongs to me, but it's also mine when they embrace it. It's also mine when it evolves. It's also mine when it educates. It's mine. It's mine. I built it. I didn't buy it. You're looking at a builder, not a buyer. I love all my investors, but you're looking at a founder, right? And it's a different walk I got. I don't need no cane. I got a different sway with me because you're dealing with the builders, right? And I think it's just important we separate it. It's important. Everybody's job is important. The teeth only work when they all bite together. I get that. But you dealing with a builder when you on this side of the street. When you see me around anything, we building something. That's a fact. That's a complete sentence. And I just want to get that out there to the world. Let's talk about Danilay brother suing the baby. For those of you may be unaware, the baby was in a fight at a bowling alley when he was approached by Danilay, which is the mother of his child's brother. Sources say he was asking for a fade, for a one-on-one with a multi-million-dollar dude. Right? So at that time, as I would have expected, people intervened. He left there injured. And then a lawsuit pops up. Lawsuit pops up stating that the baby was in the wrong for the encounter. Being at a place that he was invited to, he was on the bill to be, and being approached by a guy who's made threats online. Who's made threats online about what he wants to do and what it is with me and him. And to cut through 6,000 people, it would dunk in there. You know you know what type time you got to be on the cut through all them people to come to me and ask me for a one-on-one fight. What is you even on? You understand? So the idea that people are saying that he can't say that he was threatened, because we know that in court, everybody, you want to play that little game that right there, all right, I'm coming in court like this. Well, I was afraid for my life. He has said on there, and so we'll figure it out. Let the judge figure it out. We'll hang you up in this shit for 3-4 years if you want to. Let's do it. But it's unfortunate because I knew. I told you last week, dog. All that party and they put you in the trick bag. Because again, it could have went different. You hear me talk, right? You hear me say, how you gonna threaten me and then sue me? You gonna threaten that you gonna do something to me and then you gonna sue me after I do something to you for trying to do something to me? How does that even work? But that's what I mean when he say he couldn't have really wanted to fight. Because in my mind, I say this: if I really want to thump, and this dude here and there's 6,000 people in here, however many people in here, and I get this close, I'm fine on him. Bam! Here it is. Because it's finna go down, but I'm hitting him. This who I'm looking for. He here. This my man. Fight y'all. Let's get it. You feel me? But he went over to talk. It almost like he was trying to put him in a trick bag. I'm telling you, man. But the baby can get in court and say that he was threatened. Man, the baby can go to court and say dude said anything to him. That dude could have walked up, and we don't know what he said. He could have walked up on him. I got a bomb strapped to me. Nigga say wrong. I got a bomb on me. Like, dude could have said anything to dude. So all he gonna go say is, man, that man told me he finna kill me, stab me. Man, I fired on that man. I'm trying to neutralize this dude. This dude just said, yeah. So in the courtroom, it's gonna play out like that. But I just don't. I thought he was, because a lot of people, I even said he probably sue, but for a minute he wasn't nothing happening. So I was like, oh, he might be keeping it in the street. And I really think a rap nigga gets scared if you don't sue. If you get to fighting with him and you don't sue, he kind of think you going the other route with it. He better think that. He better think, if you found me and I'm embarrassed online everywhere and I don't post nothing or say nothing, man, they got somebody that's trying to come see somebody about a dog, man. Yeah, they got somebody that's trying to come see somebody about a dog if I ain't said nothing about it. You feel me? So when you file a lawsuit, it's like, oh man, them the games he was playing. But the whole industry kind of felt that to begin with. But again, I tell y'all, don't never go in the trick bag. And then security was in the wrong. He ain't supposed to got that close, but everybody chilling. I need the white boys with me with the little glasses. Yeah, I need them with me they don't chill. Or them dudes that be with Farrakhan, they not chilling. They like it right there. They on point all. They watching. Little shit the watch dude in the black right there. He keeps circling around, don't know what his issue is. They got a nigga on his ass. You feel me? So I need them kind of dudes around me, because man, what if he'd have snuck in there with a knife? What if he could have got it? What if he could have knew baby was coming there this week, 2 days before, went in there, put a knife in the bathroom somewhere, hid it somewhere, then come back in there when baby there, get the knife, get that close, and and so like, I don't see how they gonna say that self-defense ain't a thing, bro. For me, I just had to let it play out. But right now, I always tell y'all, don't go in the trick bag. I'm gonna keep bowling while they whooping you. I'm steady bowling. I ain't even turned around like 50 done. 50, some shit was happening on stage one time. 50 didn't even turn around. Ain't no sitting me looking at it. I ain't responsible for it. Yeah, I ain't responsible for it. Everybody and their mama can say I'm responsible for it. I ain't even see it. You gonna make me see it? Okay, prove I saw it if I never looked that way. Somebody bring whoever you want to in court and say prove I saw it, because I didn't see it. And them the kind of things you got to know how to navigate around something getting handled when you worth millions and you in there. See how dudes are, even with Jay on the elevator, you see how he can't react a certain way. You know what this is. You know what's at stake. 50 got to keep like he don't even see what's happening right here. You understand? So you got to pay attention, bro. But security don't let nobody get close to the artist, man. Keep them artists. Hey, don't walk over there. No, sir. I'll put you down. But guess who he got with him now? He got the Kane nigga back with him. And everybody know that Kane nigga gonna put something down. Yeah, that Kane nigga one of the biggest human beings on this side of breathing, boy. Man, that old bodyguard nigga. Security nigga, big nigga, boy. I'm talking about one of the biggest niggas, and gonna get it done, and ain't studying getting it done on whoever, whatever you claim, he gonna get it done. You gonna respect it, or you gonna get took care of. I done seen it too many times with that big old dude. Man, if y'all don't know who that nigga is, that's a big nigga, home. A big nigga, home, and he with him now. So go on, run up again. He gonna break your jaw this time, and them boys is not going. But speaking of the baby, he's had a last. But speaking of the baby, he has had a rough couple of months or a year. Last year and a half been rough for him. I think the first thing he done was the Tory Lanez thing and shattered the relationship with Meg by doing that, and I think him and Tory may be cool, but I don't see that translating in the same way as him and Meg, so I'm not sure how to view that. But from a business standpoint, I think the people that view numbers and whatever they view and how they look at us and us as artists or partners or just entertainers or earners, that'll be viewed as a mistake by them. Whether they say it or not is one thing, but they'll say you and Meg had something special. She has a machine behind her. We have a machine behind you. That marriage was great for your career. and you aligned yourself with Tory Lanez, and we're not sure what the circumstance surrounding that was about, but I definitely think that was just trying to help do, you know, kind of how Kanye is doing and things like that, kind of how you see us trying to help each other. But the baby was still new. He's still a new artist at that time, but make a shitload of money. Made a shitload of money. But with that and with the several lawsuits he's been a part of, or the several charges that he's been a part of in regards to publicly, and from a label standpoint, or people that view numbers, people that's sitting there looking at O's and ones and X's and O's, you know, you've been in a couple of different lawsuits. He's been to jail. Situation with Down the Lake Public. Said the thing about the AIDS, had them people on him. You know, just in various situations where it just has been rocky for him. For me, I've always said, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but I think it's worth having the conversation just because, again, I'm critical of information and putting information out to my babies, the people, for all of us just to eat it up or just expound on it. But in my opinion, Arnold Taylor and that whole label had moved on to Tootsie. And I didn't see Interscope behind the baby anymore like I used to. If you knew him and Moneybagg was 1A, 1B on Interscope for a little bit right there, right? When they made that first transition, and Interscope got involved in both moves. But I haven't heard Interscope lately with the baby. I'm sure it's business still to be cleared over there, but interesting that they've bagged up. As you see the opposite with Moneybagg. There's more and more things happening. There's shoots, there's Calvin Klein, this, that. He was on that trajectory. If you remember, he had a clothing designer. Right after he said the things about the things he said about AIDS that he apologized for, clothing designer pulled him. Festival left. Pull. From a business perspective, and those of you who may not understand this, again, I just think it's worth speaking about. At some point, it just felt like the label went on to Tootsie, which is another rapper from the same label under that Arnold Taylor tree. He's doing a great job as an exec. But it seemed like they was prepping him to be in that space because the baby continues to get in whatever little situations. And I always tell y'all, we got to handle each other with care. We got to handle each other understanding that you did just turn a little nigga from the ghetto into a multi-million-dollar dude now. Understanding some bumps and bruises, and I would hope they done that, but for some reason I'm getting the feel from the baby that there's a problem with the label. I'm going to play a clip from his Instagram and come back with some game.
You know, sometimes life get like the NBA, no matter what game you in, you know what I'm saying? You in the streets, the rap game, you know what I'm saying? Anything, even like, you know, other little games that I don't want to mention because my baby done popped in, but like, you know, it get like the streets. Sometimes you gotta blow the whole team up, blow the whole organization up, and rebuild and restructure. You know what I'm saying? Just keep the same system, but just put different pieces in there, different players, assign different roles and responsibilities, and then come back and win them rings back to back. So, you know, for whoever need to hear this shit, you know, when shit gets shaky and it don't get to looking as sweet as it's always been, don't panic, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Make the necessary adjustments and come back. Come back like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know I probably say this with my actions, but y'all probably ain't never heard it come out my mouth. But yeah, anybody, you know, going against this shit, who never went against this shit, nigga, doubt a nigga like me, nigga. Hold on, cover up your ears, twin. Cover up your ears. Anybody who never drew a line between me and any of that type of shit, went left on this shit. Cover your ears, twin. Come here, cover your ears. Whoever went left on this shit, fuck you too. You can uncover him, baby. You can uncover him. I just had to let him know. You know what I'm saying? It's Kirk. Believe that. Kirky Club. For the ones who know, you know, what this shit came from, what this shit came up out of, you know, what it took for this shit to, who know all the different stages of whatever a nigga done been through, all the shit a nigga done conquered. You know what I'm saying? Along the journey, ain't none of these niggas me, you know. The ones, they know that. Y'all know something. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all just like twins. She knows she been here from the jump, from the bump. That's why they my baby. That's why we, you know what I'm saying? Cause my boo, you know what I'm saying? She done seen every stage of her daddy, you know, and stayed down all the way along the way. She know what time it is to me. She know her daddy a beast. You know? She know what this Kirk shit about. So, you know, I'm saying all that to say this, you know. Choose to be motivated by this shit, you know what I'm saying? Even you sour apple niggas and you sour apple bitches, choose to be motivated by this shit, you know what I'm saying? Sure, this shit special, boy. Yeah, man. And that's what I'm about. Just genuinely as a person, I'm about, you know, seeing other people tap into their full potential.
So as you see that, we're going to kind of focus on that first part where he was saying that in this business or whatever business you in, it's kind of like the NBA. Sometimes you got to destroy the whole organization. For me, that's speaking to some of the people on this team. When I seen them switch video guys, it was interesting to me because them GOAT Real dudes are super dope. I mean, super dope, man. It said something. I'm not sure what it said, but when he got away from them, it said something to me. I said, man, because them dudes was helping his visuals, and you see the difference, right? You see the baby, with all due respect to his hustle, he's doing a good job, but you see he go get the little dancer thing for his last video. It didn't hit the same. That Broadway shit with the bop in it, with the real goats, them dudes are just capturing this stuff in a certain way, and sometimes you can't bypass that and just try to replace like what he's saying. Sometimes it work, others it don't. Sometimes you got a dude in position that's a cerebral thinker that you can't just plug another visionary in that position. You can plug another body, but you can't have the same expectations. And sometimes you don't know that you diminish your quality when you think everybody is disposable in that way, especially in this world, entertainment world, content making world, this world right here. Some people is delicate. Some people is that individual, the way that they craft it and do it and how they find a way to persevere. You can't buy that. You can only get that from that kind of individual. So if you fire such and such as the CEO and you plug another body there, it's going to be a different outlook, which means that's a different atmosphere, which means that's a different output, which means there's a different intake, which can affect the bottom line at the end of the day. So you got to really kind of understand how to navigate these things and understand, man, that relationships are very important. You know, I think the baby has so I'm just looking at it like, if they cut the baby off right now, where does he land? In the grand scheme, he rich, right? But when we look back musically on history, if he would have maybe got another 2-year run without the Tory thing and the aid thing and this and that, if he'd have got another 2-year run with a bunch of hits like that, it might be a little more cemented. I was speaking to somebody about, there's a unique thing happening in this time, right? And I see it with some of our biggest names. I see it with the Diddy's. I see it with the Jay-Z's. Shout out to Revolt. I see it with the Diddy's. I see it with the Jay-Z's. I see it with the Kanye's. I see it with the Charlamagne's. I see it with the QC's. I see it with the Coach K's. I see it with some of these people. Now what I'm about to explain to you, I hope that you can stay the course and be not deceived, right? What's happening is that, let's say Kanye, let's speak about the homie Kanye for a second. Let's say that some of these guys catch Kanye somewhere, or Kanye invites them into a studio session and you get your picture off with him. Like a picture with Kanye West has became a thing. A picture with Jay-Z. We speaking for grown men, other hustlers, even for dudes like me with Jay. Jay is one of them ones that's like, hey, yo, I know how you got there because I'm a student of the game. So I know what you took from who and how you did it and your whole get down. But because you was able to do it, I got a certain level of respect for that because you had to scribble outside the lines. It wasn't done. Did it the same. Had to scribble out QC, scribbling outside. So it's certain ones that I got to be like, yo, let me get that picture. But other than that, I be real quiet about the picture thing. I don't know. Maybe it's me. A lot of people say it'll work for me because of the rooms I'm in. It'll just make people like, what the, how, what? So, you know, they tell me to use it, but let me step away from that and get back to the subject. When I see people run up and want to get a picture from some of our greats like a Kanye West, and I'm only speaking about that because I see the baby next to him, Antonio Brown. A lot of people are getting next to him now. He's very accessible at this point, which is, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think it's good. If I can get an interview, we'll definitely have a good conversation. But I'm just thinking like getting a picture with him in the studio saying he called you to work you with. I mean, getting a picture with him in the studio saying that he called for you to work with him is a beautiful thing. When I see the picture online, my mind instantly says this is the most meaningful thing that can happen in some of these people's career at this point, right? Because it's a weird thing happening with a creator, right? To where when you get next to your idols and then they tell you that you the truth, that security, that validation it gives you, it locks you into a place where your creative juices start to flowing and you cannot pay for that. I always tell people, if you're going to meet somebody that you admire, take the camera with you, not to the interview, but after you get out of that, immediately record yourself and just get out whatever happened. Like, because those moments are so precious. But I think we have a failure to understand how the chips are still falling. For a lot of these guys, right, they go up so fast that it feel like they actually made it. And to make it in the music business, let's put it in quotations, not even talking about to get rich in the music business. To be solidified, you got to have a run. You got to have a run, and 2, 3, 4 year run. Look at Ludacris. He had a mean run. They don't mention him at all. You dig? So you got to understand what game you in. And don't get caught in the moment, because right now your impact is high, but what your legacy look like. So when you see him go and take a picture with Kanye, I said, bro, I know that they pull from it. I know it mean a lot that like, yo, this Kanye, this dude made College Dropout. He make Yeezys. Like, this is the guy, right? And he embracing me. So I know what they do, because I'm being embraced by some people I look up to right now in this very moment. And like, yo, what it's doing for my creativity, I can't pay for. There ain't an agency out there that's going to be able to get those juices going in that way. So what it does is solidify my contribution. And that's what happens with Kanye. But what can also happen on the other side, and this is why I say it's meaningful, but also meaningless, because that picture in itself is not you getting the work done. See, on Instagram, you can fool them because they don't have the eyes to understand that. See, I watch things, right? When I see dudes have a picture with a guy and I look and he got his luggage in the background or his luggage in his hand, I say, man, you done stopped the man in the airport and asked him for a picture and then post, you know, man, they got to give me $55,000 or we ain't doing nothing. And it's like, yo, bro, y'all ain't in no intimate setting. Like, y'all ain't nowhere where it's them is your people. If you with some of these rich guys in these other settings, them your people. But you can tell when somebody stops someone in the backstage of a show or this or that, and they try to sell it to the people like it's a connection there. And a lot of times the people bite into it. But it's about knowing what you're looking at. So with Kanye taking pictures with some of our people, they can sell it to the people like that, but you can't fool the biggest. You can't fool me. So I look at it and say, I hope that they know that that picture can also be the tipping point That same picture that you posted, it meant for it to ring bells and go far and solidify you as a big dog, can be the point where they say, man, Woo start falling off after that picture with Kanye. We thought he would do more. After he was on the Jay-Z album, we thought he would after Lil Baby jumped on his verse, we thought he would go first. After Moneybagg Yo and Yo Gotti did the video with him, we thought he would. So you got to understand too what come along with the clout chasing. If you playing entrepreneur, if you playing businessman, the clout chasing it'll reveal what you niggas is. You ain't nothing but picture taking, portrait taking photographers, nigga. You niggas is picture taking people. You ain't doing business. These people ain't calling you in to do no business. But you can fool the naked eye. But never I. The Rock Nation brunch can be the picture that you fell from. Like with Casanova right now. Shout out Free Casanova. But a spade is a spade. They saying that, man, you was around Jay-Z, man. What did he do, man? He tripping. You understand? Ain't no help coming. Ain't no help coming. You better build a bomb-safe house. Better make sure your foundation and your structures is done right. Ain't no help coming. Everybody focused on their own plate. They might as well have blinders on. But you can look at some of them pictures and, man, I remember seeing Loon with Kanye, man. After that, man, he ain't did nothing. I don't know what's up with, man. You know, it's that type of thing happening. So be careful with your picture taking and make sure you're hustling. See, I'm smart enough to know, yo, we're around each other. Let's hustle together. If you really like what I'm doing, let's get some money together, baby. Because I'm trying to get money with you niggas. If I like what you're doing, we can get some money together. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, I got to wait till I have the capital to be able to move around that way. And it's only a certain amount of time. But something tells me that the baby is not feeling the label no more. Maybe the label is starting to be a little louder with their criticisms, right? Like, man, you can't just be punching people, man. You be doing it, man. You can't be doing that, man. This clause of your contract says this, but we hadn't enforced it, right? I think something's happening. But artists on that major level like that, and I don't know the baby to be a visionary. I think he's a talented rapper. But to plug and play, man, I don't think you can unplug everybody on your team and just plug other people right in, because the NBA is a structured setting. In the same way the entertainment is in regards to talent and who has a network and reach, right? So when you deal with the NBA and the reference he made to the NBA of rebuilding the organization, you got to understand it's less about what the team did and it's more about where they're going to pull from. And that's where your problem gonna be at if you're in the music business, because the pool is so muddy, you don't know who is who in the pool. But right now, you got some genuine people who you know can get the job done, who has those relationships in real life with such and such and this and that and that and this, right? So what you're dealing with is the NBA going straight to free agency, straight to college, straight to these places. You can't then just plug in a rapper as a video guy, because he may got an eye on certain things. You still need the video guy there. But let me just hey, let me tell you now, hey, bro, what about such and such? And let you translate it. Right? Just because I got an ear for music, I still need a dude that is a mixing professional. Or then I'm naive and I'm discrediting the process. I'm disrespecting the craft. I'm disrespecting the contribution if I just think I can look at things like, yo, now you need people around you. If you ain't learned nothing else from Kanye, learn that. When you hear him drop names, these is head of other companies he had around him. He didn't build that thing just because he was a visionary like it's portrayed, and he is a visionary 100%, because being able to pick those kind of people and put them all in formation is a coaching mindset, and that's a plus in our community when we're so disorganized. So Kanye is one of them, but I think the baby's having issues with the label. Not sure how they're gonna approach it. Not sure how they're gonna overcome it. I'm sure he's under contract, but after that contract, we'll see how they approach it, and we'll see what his brand does after the contract. Because I kind of feel like if nobody's around the baby, he might go all way street rapper. You know, it might do a lot more records like Hit and shit, talking about, you know, that kind of shit versus the Packing the Mail, I'm Gones, or the you know, some of those mainstreaming rock star type records. I don't know. Like I'm saying, with no expectations attached to him, I think he liked that street talk more. But I don't know, because he come in with the bop in it and all that. So I really don't know. It's a hell of a conversation, but we'll examine it more another time. I want to move on to Meek Mill and his tweets after him and the homies bought Mitchell and Ness. So let's take a look at that. Straight from Vibe magazine, Jay-Z, Meek Mill acquired Mitchell and Ness brand with group of investors. So the iconic brand Mitchell and Ness has been acquired by a group of investors, including Jay-Z, Meek Mill. According to a press release, the strategic investment group, made up of some of the most recognized names in sports, entertainment, and culture, would own approximately 25% of the company. Lil Baby, Michael Rubin, Fanatics, Maverick Carter, the D'Angelo family, alongside more of the biggest names in sports, entertainment, and culture, all made the commitment. Mitchell & Ness is an iconic brand and pioneer within our industry, expressed Rubin in a statement. I'm incredibly excited for Fanatics to partner with this incredible group of innovative owners to build upon the company's already strong business that has kept the brand culturally relevant for more than 100 years. Growing up as a kid in Philadelphia, we looked at Mitchell & Ness as a badge of pride, and I truly believe its legendary brand has no limit. So again, shout out Lil Baby, man. I see you getting your ass in. Shout out Lil Baby. They letting Lil Baby do his 1-2. We definitely got to shout out the South. You understand? Meek Mill, he locked in with them boys. Jay-Z added. Classics are forever. Mitchell & Ness is a true classic. I was an early adopter of this brand, as well as a part of a departure from athletic wear. Yeah, you know, Jay used to, you know, rock that, and then he started saying don't nobody wear jerseys. I'm proud to play a small role in bringing it back, and in some cases introducing the authentic and quality of Mitchell & Ness brand to a new generation. So again, shout out to them. Shout out to them. Big business being done. Like I said, I love to see us come together, get a bag together. Let's not talk about it. Let's do it. You know, it's a lot of talking happening. It's a lot of people saying what they'll do when they got in position. They got in position, they ain't did nothing. So it's a lot of that. With that being said, right after that, Meek Mill comes out and he says this. Meek Mill says, OGs from the culture never put him on to any business deals. Tweet by Meek Mill. Before Michael Rubin, I never got put on to any business deals by the OGs from my culture. I'm on my 5th big one. Why is it like that? Not sponsors, ownership. I'm going to change that if I really get the power to help the younger generation. And you know this is where I thrive at. Because I understand that we dealing with a lot of different things. We dealing with broken pieces in this game. We dealing with a lot of people traveling with a lot of broken pieces. So these dudes are acting like it's all together when in all actuality, they broken pieces. I say it all the time in our game, in our entertainment industry. It's a lot of fake kicking it, a lot of fake chain giving, a lot of tax write-off love. You know, it's a lot of that going on. But what that does to the people that's unaware is it confuses them. You know, they'll name their company La Familia. You know, they'll give you a chain that's worth $35,000, but it's a tax write-off because it's a utility and they play in the game, and they CPA done told them how they can give jury and categorize this as a right. So it's all kind of game being played. So when Meek Mill speak about, man, ain't no real OGs put me up on no game. I talk about it all the time. I talk to B. Marshall about it all. I talk to my people about it all the time. This game, man, is way deep. It's a lot of fake love. It's a lot of fake kicking it. Dudes have numbers. Dudes have situations where they can put people in position and they don't do it. They think it ain't enough for everybody. I always say we come from, if you get downstairs too late, you may not eat. Or if you, at the bare minimum, you're going to get the littlest piece of chicken. And it might be bit off of and a little side of macaroni left. So that trauma, It stays alongside us. As we elevate, we have arrested development when it comes to our emotions and how we view it. We feel lucky as a mo. We ain't did damn. Did we really do this? Boy, we hustling good, or is we lucky? It's finna run out. Don't let them in. It's gonna run out. I'll be telling dudes like it said on the Joe Budden podcast. Yo, everybody be kicking that, yo, when I get on, put my niggas on, putting black people on. That's what we doing, yeah, we springboard and we putting black dudes on. Ain't nobody putting nobody on. Let's talk about it. When the last time you little nigga springboarded something that you couldn't profit off of? When the last time you little niggas gave a number to somebody that could change their life? When the last time you forward anybody conversation in regards to something that you couldn't profit from? When the last time? Black man. And it's uncomfortable to talk about it because the mirror is there. Can't escape the mirror. Everybody kick this high level. Why you ain't put the homie on the phone with the homie can change his life? Why y'all fake kicking it in the DM about how cold somebody? Why you ain't told nobody the homie is really kicking it like that? Why you ain't comment under the picture but you in my DM telling me I'm the next one? You think I turn shit into sugar and I can't peep that? You little niggas is disrespectful with your approach. You little niggas is disrespectful with your approach. You dealing with Meek Mill with money, no information. White boy gotta hip him. I like them niggas. They get close. They help niggas. They help us. I like them Michael Rubin dudes and all them dudes that be in that circle. They all right with me. See, they past that point where they don't even think about what they hipping. No, we good, man. We good forever around here, man. Let me get that. Let me get my percentage. Hey, yo, let Loon get a little percentage of that too. Just give him my percentage. We doing well. We doing well, and we giving ownership to these guys. I'm at court with these young black dudes. Like, I don't know, dog. I know black dudes that ain't hipping nobody. Everybody talking it, man. Y'all ain't hipping each other. That's why people want to get mad at me. Talking about, nah, you can't say that. You can't say that because you had help. Man, don't talk to me about no bullshit ass rap recording contract. Nigga, we know who, nigga, this either mutually beneficial or you really way more beneficial than the rapper. So dudes talking about some rap contract, talking about Meek had help. Man, these folk got me in rap contracts. Well, everybody know how them drew up. Ain't no equity in no rap contract. We ain't talking about getting me no buzz to where you got 60% of the revenue that come in. So if I do pop, you get $6 out of 10. Man, come on, man. You stay in the game. We talking about springboard. We talking about launching. We talking about, yeah, not that what y'all on some, because in my opinion, if you hear me making deals and buying Mitchell and Ness and buying car lots and furniture stores and all that, and I say, man, it took for that white dude to show me the game about these transitional housing, man. Nobody didn't even show me. I'm around all the rappers and these nigga multi-millionaire, they didn't show me. It says something about your character when you bring up a recording contract to me. Oh yeah, they helped you, bro. Now, the funny thing about that is on the flip side, you could be in a recording contract and not get that level of help Ross gave me. Let me be clear on that and give Ross some props too. Because I know how people like to not understand what they should understand. So let me give Ross some props too. Because Ross did go over and beyond, but he stand to benefit. He stand to benefit. That's all the point I'm making. And the reason I say I got to give it out to Ross or give it up to Ross, because it was 100% mutually beneficial, maybe more beneficial for Ross in the early stages, or maybe he put a large investment in and it was at some point mutually beneficial or more beneficial for Ross to do what it is he done, and he done it the right way. And the reason I gotta salute him on that is because it's niggas right now on the sideline that can make $1 million plays, make money off the play, and they won't make the move. It's dudes right now that can make one phone call, make some money off the play, and they will not pass the ball. So for you to even do it, because we see people put people in contracts and not really co-sign them in a way where it's effective now. We see that as well. But he ain't talking about recording contracts and album sales. Nigga talking about business. Nigga talking about business. Nigga talk about big business. You know why I stand to make $250,000 this year for doing nothing? Just my little investment 3 years ago. Them type things, because everybody know you got to have 7 or 8 sources. I keep telling dudes they got one hustle and think they gonna be next to the legends. What they say, they say they think greatness gon' sell. Man, greatness don't gon' sell. These dudes done this 10 times. I'm looking forward to doing it 20. Say they done that 3 times. I'm looking forward to doing it 10. I know I gotta pass the baton to the next people to go further than I went. And if my mindset is only stuck on me, I'm in a dog place and I don't even know it. But again, I give a big shout out to him because he did it when a lot of dudes won't do it even when they stand to make money. I think sometimes we dealing with Stockholm syndrome. I swear to God, I think we think it ain't enough for everybody. I was telling the homie Chad from 85 South the other day, like, all the homies got to do is share their audience. It's simple. If they think somebody ready to share the audience, they'll catapult them. But see, what the brands don't understand is you can't do anybody like that. It won't work. It got to be a certain voice that go through there. Go through those tunnels with a certain structure, with a certain pivot, with a certain perspective, with a certain persistence to go through those waves for it to be effective. In our culture, man, they think making a call is generosity. In my opinion, it ain't. It's literally procreating. I keep telling dudes, you fighting for your legacy, dog. It's procreating. Say, you know, Loon Podcast out of high level, make a call to make somebody, hey, yo, this dude here podcast, get him in. Get him in. And what are you doing? You starting a cycle of you being an avenue to people's dreams coming true. Don't nobody care about how good you rapped, how long you ran, how fast you were, how many albums you sold, how many balls you got, how many rings you got, how many platinum plaques you got. They care about your legacy. And those things are good, but I know dudes with platinum plaques that are not mentioned. The people that are mentioned are the people who have changed other people's lives, man, and constantly continue to do it. That's the only way. It's circular. It's circular. It's the only way. I hate to see a podcast list come out or some kind of big podcast event come out and I ain't on there. Or the people like me ain't on there that's independent but effective. Because I look in the room and I see everybody's already signed and all these people are already blessed and everybody multimillionaires, and somewhere along the lines we done forgot that those who are blessed need to communicate to those who need blessings. Ain't nothing Lil Durk can do for Lil Baby. Ain't nothing Thugger can do for Gunna. Ain't nothing Wallow can do for Gilly. Ain't nothing these dudes can do for each other outside of the love they got for each other. I'm talking about from a perspective of innovation, business, and entrepreneurship. We got to create avenues for those people to be able to communicate to the top. And that's one of my missions. That's one of my missions in this game is, yo, we got to create some kind of free agency. We got to create something where we keep people like me from being on the other side for too long. Life is short and circumstances are severe. You understand? And if we can't do that, we failed. Because I keep telling y'all, I look at Rogan handoff audience. It's nothing for Rogan to get a podcast on there that got 2,500 listens and hand him off 250,000 listens a week just from being on his pod and executing. We got to do a better job with that. We got to run people through the ringer that deserve to be ran through the ringer. Because as I said, believe it or not, as I get further and further up in this game, it's more and more clear to me that it's literally a phone call for some of these things to just take place. It's literally one phone call. Boom. Hey, such and such, man, here's such and such. He's the shit. All right, send him over. Boom. Hey, we'll get you in with such a, and it can literally happen like that. Dudes can stand to make money and won't make the call. So I get it, but Meek Mill is speaking about longevity. He's speaking to legacy. He's speaking to things that if they shut this lights and these cameras off, our lifestyle don't change, baby. We got irons in the fire. The fire continues to burn, baby. And that's what we got to help each other do. You know, and not be afraid of the competition. I invite competition. I don't not like no podcast. I'm just competitive. And I'm critical of the information because I understand how history works. I understand what they were trying to do when they was writing in the pyramids. I understand how important it is for us to pass the information down that's effective for the people that we'll never ever meet. We'll never have a chance to sit next to. All they'll have is these clips. All they'll have is Loon breaking it down. But hopefully they're able to cut through the weeds and also adapt to whatever changes that take place whatever changes take place after said clip or whatever game was being put down. And I view it from that standpoint, but we got to help each other do business and not be afraid. It's only more money being made. You know, and I'm clear on that. I'm a street dude, so I know. Get that pack in. Get as many people as you can that you can trust that's reliable with getting that money back, and get that shit out your house and out your spots and get it out there. A lot of people, it's just like in the street, a lot of people go to jail with people owing them. A lot of people go to jail with shit out on the street. So you got to get that shit out. You got to get that shit out for it to come in. A lot of people just want to take from the game, take from the game, and they don't put nothing in the game. You keep bringing up. You think we're going to keep listening to you too. You ain't help change nobody's life. All this power talk you talk. All this, you can do it. You next up. You got it. You the shit. Black people, let's work together. Let's not down each other. Let's support each other. All this talk you do about that, and you ain't springboarded now podcast. You ain't springboarded now rapper, now speaker, now preacher, now officer, and whatever it is you do, now co-worker, all this unity talk. Y'all ain't springboarded nothing. Y'all ain't helped launch nothing. That's why when I talk to Revolt, they clear on what the concept is. We want to launch you. We want to make sure you get in position. Right? Mutually beneficial. Not one hand get all the other colors and then this hand over here get the yellow starburst. Nah, we ain't doing that. You see? And some people are clear on their objective to really help us, and others are just using that as a marketing strategy. Like, you can do it, just all you gotta do. Like, nah, bro, this take a lot to do, especially without the help or enable or a way to contact some of these people that's in position and just be like, yo, I'm a dope podcaster. What do I do? You got to do what Loon did and spend money and do this and do that and get with these people and that. Like, it's a lot you got to do. You understand me? And I want to be clear because I don't need people to go take their rent money and think all they got to do is do this and they own, because it don't work like that. Although it's obtainable, you just got to be committed. You got to make a commitment. Ain't nothing different. Everybody you see that's on done made some kind of commitment. That's all you got to do. Make the commitment, but not go just buy the equipment. You got to make the commitment. And then that's going to separate the men from the mice. You see me every week. I'm like clockwork. I done been in the hospital. I done been in 2 cities in a day. I done been in 10 cities in a week. And I'm every week like clockwork. I've made a commitment. And that's what separates the men from the mice, the successful from the non-successful, the doers from the sayers, the leaders from the lost. You got to put yourself in a position to be committed, and that's what it is I am. Let me speak about Versus. For those of you unaware, Versus just did another one. Music Soul Child versus Anthony Hamilton. I enjoyed it. Prior to the event, there was an announcement saying that you will not be able to see it on Instagram, which would be changing their business model. Swiss Beats was unaware of it, came back and said that's not true. It will be on Instagram. So clearly there's some conversation in the background about changing that business model, and they want to go more exclusive with it. maybe Triller, them people on that side. I'm not sure. I think if you go more exclusive with it, you ignore the impact of it. And sometimes the impact of it, you got to view it as a loss leader. You got to view verses as a vehicle to get other things in front of this amount of people instead of centralizing it in one place, right? Sometimes you send an old dog out there to get some food and bring it back. You know, and sometimes you do that with verses. What you do is you beef up your integration some kind of way. Some kind of way you beef the integration up with your new shows and verses, and not corny, like, because they tend to do things that's so obvious and corny, and it's like they paid for that spot. Got to be organic. They maybe got to spend some time at verses with the people that creates it for the 4 weeks or 4 versus battles prior to even going to the board to create what we think we should do, right? Because again, what we have to do is we have to understand how we use one thing to catapult the other. Similar to what you see 50 Cent doing with Power. All right, you use Power to catapult Ghost. Use Ghost to catapult Tariq. Use Tariq to catapult Tommy. Use Tommy to, use that, Kanan somewhat falls in there. Like, all these things are using the momentum of these other things, and this is how you do it. I'm giving you supreme game right now. This is consultation fee. I'm giving you supreme game. And so when that announcement came out, I was like, yo, I don't know, man. That's changing the business. I didn't say nothing. But when Swiss came out, it let me know, okay, so somebody behind the scenes may want to take whatever audience we have here and just go ahead and convert it. We want to go exclusive with it and go ahead and convert it. And Swiss Tim then probably is arguing impact and loss leader, which would be my argument on that. But Music Soul Child and Anthony Hamilton, I get mixed reviews on it. I hear some people saying Music Soul Child did great. I hear others saying, he did all right. For me, he had one of the shortest hoodies on I've ever seen. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so here's the hoodie he had on. It was some kind of, I was unfamiliar with that type of hoodie. I had never seen nothing cut that way, to stop there with, So again, that was the first thing that kind of caught my eyes, to see such a short hoodie. It was a interesting thing. Nonetheless, they had a great event. I think Anthony Hamilton, he was killing it. I think his music sounded better. Some people said Music Soul Child was freaking it up there. He was he was killing it. For me, I'm saying but you don't experiment with that type of audience tapped in. It's the casuals tapped in tonight, baby. You dealing with the casuals. You don't do that with the casuals. You do that with the home team. They get it. You don't do that with the casuals. So in my opinion, Anthony Hamilton's music sounded better just coming out, because he sounded more like he did on the records, right? And he brought out a lot of people, did his thing. Music Soul Child kind of did it by itself for the most part. He had Jack Thriller hosting it. And some of the insults was just like, I don't know. It didn't come off Jack Thriller, and it didn't really add to it. I'll say that, because I don't never want to diminish a man and not get a check, as if I can even stop that. But it just didn't add to what I felt like the show was. You know what I mean? It just, it was just, I don't know. It just didn't do nothing. And I didn't understand why you had Jack there. Is you shy or something? Or, like, I really didn't, I don't know. It just didn't hit like I thought it should hit. Anthony Hamilton had Jermaine Dupri as his DJ, which was dope. JD's a legend. The only opportunity that I see with verses or with those live shows, and again, it's running gun, so it's hell how to do it. But maybe they should do a sound check with them people and have that mic set, because sometimes people run out, like the lady ran out with in Black. She ran out with Anthony Hamilton, and her mic was so low. They fixed it a little bit halfway through, but it still was low. Like she wasn't able to get it off like she was trying to get it off. And you seen her switch back with Anthony Hamilton, because at first it wasn't even working, and he gave her his. Then she switched back, because she probably saying, nah, this made for your voice. They done got your levels together, so keep your mic. But it's things like that the actual fan, they may hear the noise change, but they don't really know what's happening. It's just hot. It's just hard to get a hot mic in the fly of the moment. Like, all right, they going out right now. He just started this song. All right, go. And give them a mic, and it's hot. It's ready to go, and the levels are right. It's just hard to do that unless you just got mics laying around. And so when they do their sound check, you get one and you mark it. This is Juicy J mic. This is such and such mic. This is such and such mic. You know, it's really the only way you'll be able to do that. But Anthony Hamilton didn't make it complicated at all. He took care of business, in my opinion. Again, Versus is a staple in the game. I see now they doing the NBA highlights Versus. I'm sure they'll tweak that. They'll find a way to integrate that. I got some great ideas that I maybe can add to that. I got to stop giving ideas out for free. As you know, I am trying to monetize my perspective. That's what this is all about. But offering this amount of game to the game ought to give me the kind of equity where I can move around and get the kind of numbers I need to sustain, right? So we'll make sure that takes place. Let's see if we got anything else. Let's hit on this really quick. Again, as I explained to you guys about Fresh and Fit, that the business model is the business model. The approach is the approach. Fortunately for them, they still find women, black women, going on their show for whatever reason to, you know, do they want to. Now, you know, you do it with it what you may. It's y'all business, you know. Like I say, as far as what they bring to the culture, I've been clear on what I think they do and how I feel as though they navigate around it, right? We have another case of it now. Interesting the kind of people that they're picking. Tommy Sotomayor went on the Fresh and Fit for people that who don't know who that is. He's one of these internet dudes that's been out there for a long time. And if you're a student of the game or just content and internet talking and all of that, you done ran across a clip of his or something he's done at some point. He has a big thing going on with Kwame Brown as well right now. So him and Kwame got some situations that they can't seem to get over. Tommy Sotomayor said some things about black women, about wigs, about hair. You know, he's one of those dudes that like to play with the scenario, right? So he'll down you about your hair and all of this and then try to uplift you somewhere in there. So when you reference that conversation, he can reference the fact that he didn't just tear you down, but he told you the truth in his opinion. And like, these are high-level jiu-jitsu games that these guys like to play. You got to be well-equipped to navigate around this shit. Here we are with another case of the Fresh and Fit having a situation where a girl gets to arguing with a guy and things explode. Let's take a look at what happened.
I'm going on my Instagram. That's exactly why I unfollowed you, because I don't see nothing else but black people that you post on your page.
So
you don't talk about no other race.
I don't care. Anybody that wants to unfollow me, unfollow me now.
I
will say that. You can't follow my bank account. I'm still rich, so I don't care what people don't follow.
Money don't make nobody.
No, apparently it does if you do the shit you saying you do for it.
Money don't make nobody.
You're gonna sit up there and talk bad about the thing that you talked up. Jesus, why wouldn't someone listen to you when you say, I understand you don't like watching it? Don't watch it.
That's why
I don't like gay porn.
Nigga.
I don't go around looking for it.
I unfollowed you 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's
I don't care. Jesus Christ.
I unfollowed you 2 weeks ago.
I don't give a fuck. I don't follow you either. No, you brought it up.
Obviously you do, because look at how hard you're getting mad.
Dude, because you keep talking about it like I'm supposed to give a fuck. You unfollowed.
Obviously
you had
care.
to announce it.
You know I don't give a fuck.
You had to announce it, sir.
Of course I'm going to announce
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Because that was the question.
You sound insane.
No, you sound insane.
You're bothered by what I post. I don't give a shit what you post.
Because I didn't want to see it no more.
I don't give Jesus Christ. She don't understand.
I understand 100%.
I don't give a shit.
All right. Let me just mediate real fast.
I understand. Trust me.
This is insane.
Shay. Simply put,
I understand.
I will tell you this because I still follow him on Instagram. He makes fun of everybody.
No, he don't.
He does.
He don't.
He just pulled up a couple of posts.
Yeah, like, so whether he, I mean, I guess you can try to make an argument that he disproportionately insults black women more, makes jokes on them more, but he makes fun of everyone. And I kind of, this is kind of,
Twitter like 50 Cent.
the issue, like, if you don't like content, just don't watch it, and that's it. You know what I mean? You
and I unfollowed. That's why I don't watch it. But I just wanted to address him for it. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't know he would be here tonight. I always wanted to question him that. He texted my phone and asked me and check up on me just to make sure that I'm good, and I respect that. But I don't reply because I simply don't respect him more because he's just the fact that what he posts on the gram, and it's just like what you texting me for, and you do all this to try to play black women like they just always ignorant or don't fucking know shit. Like you can't do that. Because he cares. Period.
Think about it. Listen to what she
If you
said.
care, you wouldn't downplay it. If you care, you wouldn't downplay it.
He's trying to benefit in your image, though.
Can we just have this debate, please? Nobody else.
But you're not listening to me when I speak. You're telling me what I should be doing instead of asking me why I do it.
I asked you why.
And when I accept it, when I
asked you why, that was my first question.
Even now, when I'm saying, when I say, I ask you why, and when I ask you why, and when I ask you why,
and I ask you why. Continue.
All right. So Shay, simply put, he makes his content. You might not like how he disproportionately makes fun of black women, but yeah, you have the right to do that. I mean,
facts.
Yeah. So it's just a little, like it's like it's like if you don't like something, just don't watch it.
I don't. That's why I unfollowed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it, but I didn't know he would be here to ask him that question today.
Okay. Yeah. Now
you get what I'm saying?
She wanted clarity. All right. Well,
no, she doesn't.
I think that
she wants to be able to control the person because
I don't want to control it. I just want to know why.
If I wanted to know why a girl didn't want to date me, if she says it, that's the answer. Not to argue with this girl as she states it. You don't tell what you should do. No, you shouldn't.
Tommy funny as fuck though. It's really funny as fuck because like
you get an answer to a question.
You know what? I would not even get it into that subject.
You got an answer to a question. You ask, why do I post what I post? You got an answer.
So bad, but I'm trying not to.
This is the most ridiculous
like,
shit.
So many black people on his platform, but this nigga was trying to fuck a bad bitch like me. Like, stop playing. Like,
do you hear this shit?
He flew me to him.
And your friend.
And my friend.
And
so
fuck your friend. Why the hell are you sitting here doing this?
And you didn't fuck me.
Why are you doing this?
What you doing? Niggas was trying to act like niggas was trying to act right now in front of a camera.
How am I
Let's be honest. Nigga
how am I trying to act? How am I trying to act?
Let's be honest.
This is why black bitches get kicked out of clubs and shit.
I don't give a fuck because it's the truth.
You're acting stupid.
I'm not acting stupid.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
You were trying to fuck me.
Why are you getting so mad?
This is stupid. Because you're being dumb. You're being ignorant.
I'm not being ignorant. It's the truth.
Bitch, you flew to my house. You said you wanted to fuck. This is stupid.
I didn't tell the fucking messages where I said I wanted to fuck.
You literally did.
No, I did not. You told me that we were going on a podcast for your show on OnlyFans.
Wait. This is fucking dumb.
I got all the receipts in my phone. I can dead ass pull that shit out.
And she's a porta potty.
No, I'm not a porta potty. Tell me what nigga shitted on me.
Shut up.
Tell me what nigga should know, because it's
you want people to know. You are wanting to let somebody know I tried to fuck you. This is stupid.
Because I didn't fuck him on OnlyFans. I didn't want to fuck him.
Is your weave that tight today, man? Is the glue fucking with you?
Niggas pay me. Do you hear me?
This bitch is drunk and acting stupid.
I'm not drunk. I'm dead ass not drunk.
You dead ass drunk and stupid.
I promise to God.
That weave too tight and you need a different kind of glue.
God knows I'm not drunk right now.
Dumb son of a bitch. Just up here just being ignorant for no reason.
No. He not finna try to play me on.
Who's playing you? Stupid bitch!
No, bitch, you fucking stupid.
Nobody's playing you.
So shortly after that, the young lady then went and sat with Kwame Brown. I continue to tell you guys that Kwame and Tommy had some sort of beef or issue on the internet, and so she went and sat with Kwame Brown. Let's take a look at a little bit of it.
On the podcast, saying it was easy to fly out, and then you talking about you putting them on, getting them money, and just to try to make they OnlyFans lit. Talking about everybody getting paid. No, I'm not one. Yeah, I do OnlyFans. Don't get me wrong. I get OnlyFans, but I don't need my OnlyFans to help me get money at all. So he told me the next day come, I was like, so are we going to do the podcast? You know, because that's what I originally came out here for. He's like making, like, really was trying to contemplate. And so we end up doing the podcast. So we end doing the podcast, and I'm like, you know, I'm really ready to go. Like, can you just book my flight back to Miami? And he booked my flight back to Miami. and my friend, she stayed. So whatever happened when I left, that's what happened. He is a liar when and say I'm jealous of her because of her skin tone. He is lying, talking about all the girls was on the show I was jealous of last night. That lies. As you can see on the whole entire show last night, everybody was vibing until the end. He didn't have nothing else to think of, so of course he gonna say, oh, she jealous of light skins. Oh, she jealous. I'm not jealous of nobody. It's like, what the to be jealous of somebody for, bro? What somebody got that I don't? So I didn't really get why he kept saying, I'm jealous of Claudia. I'm jealous of Claudia. How am I jealous of Claudia when I'm putting her on? You would never even know who she was if it weren't for me. I was originally supposed to be on Fresh and Fit myself. I asked them, can I bring a friend with me? And she came. So he didn't realize that I put everybody on around me. I don't got to hate on nobody. I need my whole team to be winning, bro. I look like winning in my team, not me.
So again, man, that's the young lady. And she just kind of spoke about it, said there was a sexual affair between the two. Again, his business model is kind of the same business model that Fresh and Fit has, where they tend to grab, certain topics and monetize because they speak about black women and how maybe they approach something or some of the mistakes of black people and things like that. And so with him being on the show, I would have been surprised if nothing like that happened. And in doing research, I think he's been on there a couple of times and you haven't heard about it because nothing like that happened. But it's a recipe for a disaster in that environment. 10 women, 15 women, some over cocky guys that's trying to be like, shut it down and shut it up and don't you say a word when you hear me talking. It's like, that's a recipe for disaster. At some point, they're gonna bite off more than they can chew. I don't know. It's not gonna always be just a blow up that way. It's not gonna always happen that way. Somebody's gonna do something that's a little bit more devastating. And I just think they should change the business model, especially like that being a meeting spot. People's mothers are being disrespected there. People's wives are being talked to any kind of way. And I know people are going to say, well, they don't have to come to the show. That's beside the point. That milk's already spilled. They're at the show. Now we got to deal with how you treated them. Right? So people are being disrespected in that they're leaving with these encounters where they've had encounters with men where things got slippery. And so you don't know what enemies you are creating. I'm sure it's in some kind of building where they think security can stop people from getting up there and things like that. But got to be careful when you create those kind of toxic environments, because only so long you can really, really control them. Like, you're not in control of them like you think you are. For those of you unaware, Kanye West is about to release Donda 2 very soon. He's made an announcement that it will not be available on streaming platforms. This is a very, very big deal. I think the culture didn't stop in the way that I thought it should have to acknowledge a wrench being thrown in the system, right? First, I want to say something to the young creators and the little creators out there, right? Because oftentimes we get caught in our ecosystem, right? We get caught in our little echo chambers, and we tend to think that we tend to get position confused, right? So I don't big up Kanye in this moment to belittle any creator that did this out of necessity. And I hate to see us do this infighting when a message come out with such velocity that means so much to the infrastructure, right? But young creators, little creators, the people that's not on that pedestal or on that level tend to say, yo, man, they bigging up Kanye, but I was selling mine like that forever. I've been doing that. I've been going the route where I sell directly to my people without going to the streaming sites, and I big them up. We definitely salute y'all. I think it's the same action being took, but it's definitely from a different standpoint. When one of the most decorated artists in the game, or one of the most successful artists in the game, with the pull, the exposure, the influence that Kanye West has, with active deals on the table, to walk away from those and bring a hen in the chicken house, I think is set precedent. when you deal with the streaming companies, you hear me talk about it, you hear other podcasters talk about it, you hear other content houses and people talk about it. We don't know what a stream is worth. And unfortunate for us on this side, they won't let us know what a stream is worth. If we had the labels on our side, we would get a glimpse into that. But unfortunately for us, the labels have told Spotify, let us in, or we'll fight on behalf of them. So the labels, and I don't want to point out Spotify because, again, I'm an active guy in the space that's looking to brand build. So we don't want to single anyone out, but we definitely want to examine the information and be critical of the ones that's pointing out things that's inconsistent with what it is that we view, right? So all streaming platforms, let's talk from a general standpoint. The big streaming platforms, the labels went and made a deal with them to where they not only got stock, they got equity in those companies for license to music that they don't make. I understand and respect business, I respect it. I respect business from a standpoint that very few people do. But I also understand that if we're transparent with the information, we can then know what a fair deal is. Because at this point, y'all just looking at some stuff and saying this is worth about 20 million. And we're like, all right, so what y'all doing with the information? And no one's sharing that information. So for Kanye you got to remember, reportedly, there's $100 million deal on the table from Apple that he walks away from. Not only do we walk away from it, they stop funding all of these concerts that you see at these stadiums. There's been a lot of concerts at stadiums with Kanye West where he's been able to sell stadiums out. But you got to really understand what it takes to put that show on. You got to understand what it takes, not only from an organization standpoint, meaning how many cars we need, how many seats, how do we need to cut the back off, where's everybody sitting? Because he's not going conventional or traditional with his approach to his set design, to his entrance, anything. So it's a lot of work that has to go into that, and Apple or whoever he partners with usually fits the bill. When he throws a monkey wrench into their system, they have to pull out. It's not personal, it's business. Oh, so now you're a competitor. We got to view you like Spotify. We got to view you like some of these other companies when you say, hey, yo, my music won't be available there. Right? But the power attached to it. Because the relationship is just a relationship and is not being spoken to. No one of any significant power has made the decision to say, hey, I want to know what a stream is worth. I really want to know what y'all getting from there. I want to know what that looks like from y'all perspective, not only from the artist perspective. And that's the difference between Kanye doing it and the homeboy doing it. They're selling, even if he's selling 5,000 that way, that's cool. That's a good number. And I'm sure you living pretty good off of that. But you got to know every deal that's available for a musician, Kanye is privy to it. For him to walk away from that security, walk away from all of that to help try to build an industry or more fair relationship for everybody that falls under that, for me is a hell of a thing. On the other side, you see him give Pusha T his masters and rights back to his stuff and his back catalog. His back catalog. Unfortunate for Kanye, he's being caught up in saying a lot of different things as well. At the same time, he's being viewed and being painted away based off what he's being said. Let's be clear now. They ain't making nothing up or putting no words in his mouth, but they ignoring some of the good things that he says. That's the problem when you say a lot of different things. When you talk a lot, it gives people the ability to pick through what it is you say and pick and choose what it is they want to hold you accountable for, right? So we didn't hear none of the good stuff or none of that good shit you doing, but all that bad shit, we want to talk to you about it. You know, and so I see that happening. I think it's a very powerful move if he sticks to it. I don't see him sticking to it though. What I see him doing is maybe an exclusivity thing, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks on the play, and then he'll roll it out with some kind of deluxe with some more music to drive the traffic. I just don't see him with him, because I take Kanye as being the kind of dude that want to hear people say, yo, this is dope, and I like this music, and this is the shit, and that beat, how you did that. I think he makes his music to be consumed by the masses. You know, at some point he changed and started making stadium type music because he wanted to cater to coming out to 20,000 people and things like that. So with an ego like musicians and artists and creators usually have, especially ones that create things like music and clothing, things for the masses to consume, I just think he takes part of what makes, you know, part of what keeps him ticking. He takes that away from him as well, because the masses consume music, unfortunately, from these platforms. He's going to convert some people, but I just don't see him sticking with it long term. I think he'll roll it out on those platforms after he gives those people that spent the 200 some sort of exclusivity for doing so. But again, we don't big Kanye up to take from any young creator. But it's a lot of people doing a lot of backflips off of houses and backflips on mattress and trampolines in the neighborhood, and they doing a good job. But if it ain't in the Olympics and if you don't get a gold medal for it, I'm not sure the gravity attached to it, right? In regards to the structure setting that they have in place, unless you create your own structure setting. When we deal with someone like Kanye, you got to understand, again, I got to stress this for the youngsters, right? You got to understand what that does, right? When Kanye does something like that, it adds to the algorithm. It adds to the algorithm. And the young nigga that's doing it in his basement, or the young nigga that's selling 5,000-10,000 out his trunk, we salute your hustle, and you got a creative mind. You got to find a way to tap into what? The algorithm. But what Kanye is doing, he has the ability to change the algorithm. This is how you know what level you on. Some people with they reach, they got the ability to tap into the algorithm. Other people with they reach, they got the ability to change the algorithm. When Kanye do it, he's able to change the algorithm. He's able to create the benchmarks in which the industry negotiates from, right? So musicians after him is able to create contracts based on some of the things he's able to do, or create more revenue, right? So I just think we got to understand position. And if you did do it, man, don't feel no way. Just understand, like, it's different. You didn't really walk away from 100 million. You didn't, because I know you. You feel me? You didn't walk away from 100 million to do it, and that ain't taking away from you what you done. It's just putting it in perspective. Some people got the ability to tap into the algorithm. Others got the ability to change the algorithm. Loon, what I'm doing in podcasting is to change the algorithm. I want to salute everybody that's parting to tap into the algorithm, that's copying people format, that's going to interview the dude right after he left the other podcast. I salute y'all. I give y'all one of them. But Loon on the other side that's creating the conversations. You don't got to salute me. You don't got to salute me, right? I'm taking the private over here, and I get off the plane with the little dog. You understand? So you don't got to salute me. We doing well. And we know the game is worldwide. What we do, we getting people tapping in from all around the world. So you don't got to salute me. It's unnecessary to co-sign somebody with good credit. You feel me? But what they have to worry about is people starting to team up, right? And that's what I'm hoping to bring to the game is I see a world where we team up and we go on tour. You understand me? And we really go on tour. Not that little bullshit that y'all calling tour. I'm talking about we really go on tour. And we provide podcasting and music and comedy and all that on one tour. And it's ours. See, they scared to do it. Number one, they don't want to share the audience. I keep telling people, man, I stress this to people, man, because, and the reason I know this is because I'm dealing with the results. These people don't like to share the audience. The audience is something that, number one, is hard to get, But again, the reason they don't want to share the audience is because they don't know why the audience is really even in tune with them. So if they don't know how to keep it. They got it, but they don't know how to keep it. And they don't know what makes it leave outside of canceling somebody. They don't know what keeps my audience. Right? And what they tend to think is, and I know it not to be true, but I need to charge consultation fees. But what they think is that the interviewing of other celebrities keep their brand visibility in a good place. And it does. That's an old traditional approach to it. But there's another way to do it. Matter of fact, there's several other ways to do it. And as I get further up in this game, I'm starting to understand that the knowledge that I have and the information I have, they don't even know really. People don't know how to navigate this game. It's a new space. I have 1 million hours in. Dudes talk about 10,000. I got 1 million in. You see? And it just makes me view it different. The only critique I have, and this isn't about Kanye. This is about, do we know when to pass in our game, in our culture? Do we know when to make the call for the youngster? Do we know when to just make the call for the podcaster? Yo, the dude fire. Call, we'll get him on the line, like fast track that. Do we know when to, hey, yo, I made enough off Pusha T's catalog. Give him his shit back. It's his. And that's my guy. Why did I have it this long? The benchmark, I hope, is in $9 billion. Because if it's $1 billion or more, only a certain amount of people gonna make it that far, and that means we still gonna have a lot of infighting. And for us to be able to really, really speak ownership to each other in black excellency, because inside of black culture, man, and again, I can only speak of my experience. I was just speaking to my lawyer about this. I've been pleasantly surprised, right, on the way I've been embraced. But the reality too, though, we got to make sure that we figure out a way how to support each other. But I actually came in this game thinking, yo, they ain't gonna embrace you. So I come with information on everything, and I come to, if they play, let's go. I'm ready. Wartime. I gotta be loud about it. They ain't gonna let us in. So and as I've been coming in, they've been able to see something in what I'm doing and like co-sign it and fast track it and get him over here, get him with this brand, get him next to these people, get him. And it's like, it's a pleasant surprise. But there is a subsection of this culture where there's a lot of pump faking. There's a lot of acting like we gonna get the business done. Act like we gonna shoot and make it happen. Right? When really they really trying to create a shot for them. And ain't nothing wrong with that. I always find offensive, like, it's almost like a dude when he having sex with a girl, he'll promise a woman anything. You know, some of these guys that get in your face and they'll promise you anything. Man, what we gonna do is, that's why I salute the ones that really build with you. That really get that done. Cause some people are just in the heat of the moment, these industry dudes will say anything. Man, I'm gonna help you make $75 million, man. Ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna let you go without making $75 million at least next year. You be looking like, damn, this dude got a podcast and they ain't made nothing. All your money come from somewhere else, but you gonna make my podcast $70 million. I need to talk to the ones that's cashing checks in this game. And I got their numbers and I know how they doing it. And they helping me out through it, and I got a lot of respect for them. But we got moments to create. And we can't wait to create them. And that's what's more important, is that y'all got to understand that Loon is in formation. I'm in my huddle. I got my whole game plan together. I'm ready to sit down with the who's and get to what's what. You know, and the way we going to be able to do it, I think send shock through the culture, and we'll be able to sustain in the market at a high level, if not number one. We coming for number one. You know, so we'll figure it out. And hopefully the brothers in the game, we all get to sit down and chop it up one-on-one and talk about life, education, the environment. You understand, some of our encounters, our mistakes, You know, where we come from, business, podcasting, rappers, gang culture, our culture, you know, some of the many things, sports, things we got to talk about, contracts, contract disputes. There's a lot of things in this culture that's happened, man. That's why I'm saying you don't have to go sit with the same rappers that everybody's sitting with. Take that from me, the ones that's out there that's trying to create some. Learn how to interview people, learn how to sustain. You'll be all right. Let's talk about this. Godfrey and T.I. There's a situation with Godfrey and T.I. T.I.'s been running around doing comedy, for those of you that don't know. Again, this space, this creative machine that everybody else likes to call their brain, it can take you down different avenues. For Tip, he's done a lot of different things. Now he's trying out comedy. So with him having the level of fame he has, he's able to skip the line. He's having notoriety at the end of the day. And this is where they saying he's breaking in. And when I listen, because again, I got 1 million hours in this industry. And this industry was built by comics. So by default, I've had to study the comics that built the industry. So me doing that, I know that comics really can be $1 million dudes and go to the comedy store and get paid $15 for their set tonight. So they have a very grassroots approach, right, to the way that they do comedy. But with Tip is able to play the celebrity card, so he's able to get past that. Now, we talk about people like Rogan. We talk about people like Dave Chappelle that'll go to the comedy store and they'll give him $8 at the end. He may not take it. He may just say keep it, but the same rules apply. What happens is Tip is able to play the celebrity card and he's able to fast track some of that process and not go through that grassroots approach. And for some comics, that becomes disrespectful. It's a unique thing because I have a lot of respect for comedians and the art form. It's a lot like podcasting, storytelling, preaching. All of these things are kind of in the same vein, right? And I have a certain amount of respect for them. Let's take a look at what Godfrey said, and we'll bring back some commentary.
Stage after okay, T.I. has been doing comedy, guys.
Yes,
he's been doing comedy for the past 3 weeks.
he's been getting on stage and not rapping.
So
not rapping.
Did you give him a guest spot on your show?
Wait, first of all, I'm getting off stage. It was on a Thursday. Last Thursday, I'm on stage. I do like an hour 40 because it was Thursday. It was the first show. Did an hour 40, and I get off, and Artie goes, Godfrey, T.I. is here. And he wants to go on, like after I said what? But I was like, dude, I'm not gonna say no to T.I.
Yeah,
if it could have been KRS-One, I'd be like, yeah, let him do it.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where you go, as a comedian, I'm like, why the fuck are you in our lane?
Space, yeah.
But as a branding, this is a good look.
Yeah.
As in everybody's about visual, everybody's about social media. I go, sure.
Yeah.
Let him up.
Yeah.
He did about a half hour. He's telling stories. You know, T.I. talks very slowly.
Yeah.
Expeditiously. Uses big words. So it's his town. Atlanta's his town.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. I didn't go in to watch.
Yeah.
I didn't go in to watch T.I. because as a headliner, no one's supposed to go up after you.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's a code in comedy that I follow. I'm not watching what you can't do better than me.
Yeah.
You're not a comedian to me. You're working your way. I give him. He's taking it seriously. I don't know how long he's gonna do that.
Yeah.
But I'm not coming back after I finished my shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I tore that bitch down, and I'm gonna go back and go watch someone who's
who's not a comic,
who's not a comedian.
Yeah.
For me, morally, that's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, but you just got through saying that it's more than that. You talked about the branding. You talk about all these other avenues that you could touch by having him come. So why wouldn't you go watch him? Just because there's something else I could touch.
I don't want to watch.
I understand it. I wouldn't watch.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in the room. I've just finished.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I just finished, but I waited he hung out with us.
Okay.
And we talked comedy. No.
Yeah.
I want it.
Okay, well, then you got what you needed to get
I
after
fuck
that.
with T.I.
No,
I have his music. I listened to his music, like when Southern shit was coming out.
Yeah.
And not this shit now. He was actually rhyming. You know, his song You Don't Know Me. What you know about that? That's what I was saying. What you know about? But he went up and he was really gracious and shit.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for letting me up, boom, boom. And we did I did a fucking live with him.
Yeah.
And people say there's gotta be in T.I. It's visual.
Right. Okay, so I get that, but I would have
and as a businessman, Gary, who owns it, he's a bit close friend.
So hold on, whoa, big guy. Are you saying you show fake love? Is he saying he showed fake love? Are you saying that you embraced Tip on stage, left stage, went to a podcast and complained about it? I know that ain't what I'm hearing. Let's hold up. Run that back.
That's his thing. Yeah. Gracious and shit.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for letting me up, boom, boom. And we did I did a fucking live with him.
Yeah.
And people say there's gotta be in T.I. It's visual.
Right. Okay, so I get that, but I would have
and as a businessman, Gary, who owns it, he's a bit close friend of Chappelle's, and that's his thing.
Yeah.
It's in Atlanta, and then the landlords of that place that own the comedy club, own the space, are these Pakistani dudes. They were all excited.
Yeah.
So it was just a whole
it was a good look to say yes.
That's
okay. I would have loved for it to happen before you went up, though. Like if you could switch the idea, right?
Later.
Let's imagine it's T.I.'s concert. He's doing a rap thing, and you want to go up and do some time. It's gonna be a no.
Well, we can open up. Yeah, right. Why would I go up after T.I.?
Right. And in the same vein for comedy. I mean, just respectfully, but I get it.
It looks like he just started. I'm looking up like how long he's been doing.
Hold
like
on.
literally
So
last month.
my understanding, again, I'm going off my understanding for comics, for the genre. You know, I'm going off my understanding for the genre because, again, by me studying podcasts as a new industry, I bump into comics who built the industry, and as I run into that, I study comics. So it's just by default, right? And by me understanding that, I'm thinking he more so speaking about the art form, and it's just his place in it. He's basically saying because the dude's not better than me, he shouldn't be on stage after me. Now hold on now. Two black people. Now that's a different conversation because, again, I'm looking at it saying, I get it, right? Because comedy has a grassroots approach. Y'all heard me just break it down. That's how I'm looking at it. Now as I listen to him, because I don't operate with notes. I get on here, I listen to things, and I go off, right? So as I'm listening, the dude is saying, I'm not gonna get on behind somebody that's not a comic, that doesn't do this, that's not better than me, that doesn't do this better than me. I haven't heard anything about the art form. I haven't heard anything about what I'm saying. What I know that Joey Diaz go down to the comedy store and get $10 at the same time as being on Waterboard next to Adam Sandler. I know that Joe Rogan has the #1 podcast in the world, and he gets up at the Cellar and might get $18, right? I know Dave Chappelle will walk into the Comedy Store in LA and have to wait and only get that a little 8 minutes, 15 minutes at most. Like, you know, I know they still get treated a certain way, a grassroots approach, but it seemed like basically this sound a little haterish to me. This don't sound like no, hey, yo, respected craft. It's almost like if it was football, it's like, hey, yo, how y'all gonna call dude the fastest man in the league and y'all ain't got his 40 time? It's almost like they skipped his 40 time and gave him fastest dude in the league. You know, and I would respect that because everybody come through that structure. But I wouldn't just say that, hey, yo, I'm faster than him. And, you know, it's just like, yo, for me, that just don't sound right. It just sound like he might be hating a little bit. Let me hear a little more.
Yeah,
like a couple of weeks.
In Atlanta's talking about it. I know comics in Atlanta talking.
I mean, it's like T.I. and I'm like, I mean, I heard some laughter, some in and out, but I'm like, are they laughing because, oh my God, it's fucking T.I. Like, you know, it's a big shiny object.
Yeah,
right.
Because that object stops getting shiny in comedy.
Yeah.
Because it's it's a day in, day out grind.
You're only famous for like 5 minutes,
man, and
then
after that, it's like,
what are you saying?
It's like all the phenomena is going to go away.
Yeah.
If he becomes like, I'm going to do comedy now.
Yeah.
That phenomenon goes the fuck away.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be times
he's gonna have to go to open mics if he wants to actually.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I'm
he can't
thinking
just keep busting in and jumping off
And my thing,
people's shows.
my thing, because he did Donnell's after mine. He went to California, did Donnell, and I'm open. So I'm like, are you going to go to regular open mics and really work your craft?
Yeah,
because
I agree with what Vaughn was saying though. Because if it was reversed, they would have said no. Like if a comic comes up to a rapper like, yo, I'm trying, they'll know. So it's like, I don't know.
Hold on.
I just don't like
comedy is like a literally like a public bathroom.
So much.
Well, the reason why that they'll say no to a rapper, number one, is because, and I know that the craft, some people in there are speaking craft language, and that's what I'm more so speaking about, the craft, respecting the genre as a whole. But when you bring it into the rap world, a comedian doesn't have the effect. That doesn't translate the same. T.I.'s celebrity translates to any stage that he walks up on. So let's not just say that any old comedian can. Now, if Duval's in the city and Duval might want to come out with Boosie, that's a go. Let's do that. And it might be plenty of rappers out there that think, man, I'm from here. Everybody know me. I should get on stage, and they can't make that move. So it's about what translate on stage. And for Tip, his celebrity translates wherever he goes. So if he stands on a comedian stage, you see how the building, the owner is happy. That speaks to his celebrity translating. That's what you got to deal with. So no, a comedian can't walk up and say, hey, yo, I want to bust my freestyle after your song, after you done rapping. Because that comedians, in most cases, now guess what? After my show, guess who can come on? Dave Chappelle. Let one of these rap dudes be rapping and say, yo, after me, Chappelle here, he want to talk to y'all for a minute. Everybody's locked in because his celebrity translates. The respect for what he does translates, and he's speaking to the same people, right? So, a lot of y'all comics, a lot of comics and their rapping ability, those two things just don't, it's not given. Yeah, it's not giving what it's supposed to be given. So you can't, that's a bad, in my opinion, that's a bad false parallel.
Comedy's like a public bathroom. Everybody comes in and
that's facts. That's a great analogy.
Everybody comes in and the door's just always open.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know what I mean? If you're a man or woman, you go through your door, but it's always fucking open.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, it's not like, fuck T.I. No, I'm like, if you taking it seriously, cool. Because I fuck with T.I. Just like, the shit that he's trying to build in Atlanta when he's like, we need to build our own fucking community, all that shit. And he takes care of his children. He has like 6 of them, right? 6 or 7. No, he's there for his kids. I'm being serious.
I know. I mean, he should.
He's there for his kids.
Yeah.
And but comedy, I'm like, all right, this is real. This ain't like getting lucky shit.
Was it just the one night, or he came after?
No,
is that a disrespect at rap? This ain't that getting lucky shit.
He was going to Donnell's show.
Hold on, man. Come on. Loon is the dude that bridged the gap between the comics and the rappers, bro. The comics and the athletes. Like, what we not gonna do is discredit rap, bro. This ain't no get lucky shit when we deal with rap. And I don't want to hear that again respectfully, because you don't want to start come on, bro. Because if we talk about comedy, where do we really stand and where do these dudes stand? Let's talk about it. I've studied the space, bro. Let's chill and let's never, ever again say that rap is some get lucky shit. Like these dudes don't work hard. A lot of these rap dudes work extremely hard, day in and day out and day in and day out, bro. Let's not disrespect each other's genre in that way. Let's coexist. Let's try to procreate, nigga. Yeah, let's not talk to each other like yo, bro. Come on, bro. Going in the ghetto to pick them bags up. You little dudes is funny. You going to the city funny, little dude. I'm going to the town as a rap dude with $2 million worth shit around me and beef with a couple of people, man. When you talk about gritty and grimy to get the money, man, don't disrespect the genre like that and you black, man. Let's not do that, man. That ain't. I don't like that. Let's not do that, my bro. And let's have a conversation about that. Reach out to me. I'll fly in to wherever you at. Let's have a conversation about, do you feel like rap is some get lucky shit? You think these dudes not working hard? You don't think Jay worked hard? You don't think Drake worked hard? You don't think Kanye worked hard? You don't think? Come on, man. Let's keep it real. You don't think Tip worked hard? Ross worked hard? These niggas working hard, and they ain't funny. Ain't nobody giggling when dudes is around. You feel me? So no, man, don't do that.
And he flew out to California, Ontario. I think it's Ontario Improv to do, Donnell's show.
Okay.
And so I was like, hey, whatever's clever. But a lot of people think comedy is just this thing you can kind of get lucky on.
Yeah.
Like, nah, dude. I'm talking about the art of comedy, not getting on a TV show because you can look like somebody and get on.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the art of comedy, like joke to joke, bang, 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 transition, fucking.
And also what a privilege to be somebody that could go, oh, hey, Godfrey, or
but
hey, Donnell,
he showed me respect, though.
Yeah,
he showed me a lot of respect.
Being
which is
respectful,
cool.
but it is still a privilege to be able to just go, oh, I'm T.I., I'm going to get up on a show. Like,
yeah, he's going to do it.
Part of getting good at comedy is the rejection of comedy,
he's a rap superstar. He even said, he goes,
no one's going to tell him no.
Said, I'm a rap superstar. I mean, that's what I am.
Yeah.
You're wealthy.
Yeah.
You have a lot of money. Your catalog, you're good. For your kids are good.
Yeah.
So there's a comic that wants to get on that's just trying to pay his rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm...
Well, you can also look at that a different way, Mr. Black Man Godfrey. You can look at that a different way. You can say that, all right, here's Tip. He's well off. He's good. He don't need no money. His catalog got him straight. All those things that you said, again, perspective is king in this world nowadays. All that you could have said could have also been used to make the other argument that, man, he really got to love this to be doing it. Ain't no money in this for him. Man, wow, dude got plenty of money, man. He want to get up on a stage in which we know, boy, that's a scary spot. If you know comedy. If you know comedy, it's like being in everything's looking at you. Speak about all eyes on me. That's when it's all eyes on you. And it's some expectation attached to it. Right? So you don't know what the feeling is, and Godfrey does, and comics does, but you don't know what the feeling is for someone to fall from as high as Tip is coming. Because bombing is necessary to be great as a comic. So if he knows the game, that if he studied it at all before he went into it, he knows he got a bomb. So now he got a bomb as the famous celebrity dude with all the money. He know it's coming, and it's probably going to be on camera somewhere. Right? So he got to love this game to come embarrass himself. We know if you study comedy, you come to embarrass yourself. Before you get to a point where you can do the Dave Chappelle, before you can do the Rogan, before you can do the Bill Burr, before you can do the Steve Harvey, yeah. So he coming to embarrass himself with all that money that you talk about, but yet you look at that to say the other side. And again, I think it's interesting coming from a black dude. I would expect a white comic to say it. No one said nothing. It's interesting. And Tip responded. I'm going to play that. I just want to hear a little bit more of this because, again, this is real time. But let's listen to a little bit more.
Kick him in his teeth. What do you mean you want to go up? Shut up.
But I know somebody said to T.I., someone said to T.I., yo, you looked uncomfortable. And he looked at him and go, now what makes you think I was uncomfortable? T.I. is a gangster. Fuck that. T.I. is a real fucking, he ain't no fucking, he's that motherfucker.
Yeah. I imagine he's popular enough too to just draw his own crowd.
Yeah.
He should just start doing his own shows.
He's like a real, like he's one of those dudes, really polite, but that scary polite.
Yeah.
That I could see if he snap.
Yeah.
He'd be like, hey, cuz, I don't play that shit. Like,
T.I.
that motherfucker.
Yeah. T.I. is somebody. Remember when something broke off at some sort of club, man, and the cops showed up? And T.I. came out with his whole entourage and basically stepped in the middle, told the police, look, we don't want no problems. I got my crew here, you got yours, but let's just talk this out so everybody be cool. Yeah. Like, I mean, you're right. So when whoever he said that to was like, what you
see, and that's what I say about this space in comics. And again, I'm telling you, if you want to know about podcasting, and this is a gem I shouldn't be giving out, but I'll do it for the sake of everybody that's hustling, and my demographic is us, so it may help somebody. Comics built this space. They know how to speak. That's why Schultz is able to, when he got next to Charlamagne, it was the best thing to happen to him because he was already a comic, but he didn't have a cosign. But he got next to Charlamagne and got some of that game from Charlamagne because Charlamagne is in a structured setting. Charlamagne is a walking game giver. If you in this content creator broadcasting space and you get to sit next to him every week in and week out, you get to hear some of the conversations that he's having with some of these brands and some of these people, and some you privy to certain things that's molding you, that's molding the way you communicate. So Schultz was able to do that, and being a comic on top of that knocks it out the water, right? Comics built this space. So you see Godfrey take all through all that, and at the end of the clip, you want to clean it up. Oh, he's a gangster. He's that. This how well they are at communicating. This ain't by coincidence. He know clean it up at the end. When I run in the tip, I'll just say, nah, I cleaned that up at the end, bro. But just stand by your real feelings. We real. We respect your real feelings. It's cool. It's cool that you didn't like the fact that his celebrity translated, because it ain't about the craft. You never once said, yo, you got to work your way up to that. And then they say, yo, he can go get the crowd. He can draw his own crowd. Just start doing your own thing. Nah, I want to embarrass myself. I want to come up and speak in front of the real comedian fans. I want to try my shit on the people that ain't coming because it's Tip talking. Right? And it's like, you know, I got to have some respect for this art form, but let's listen to what Tip said back to the dude.
The dude is recognize someone who could be an ally, someone who could be an asset, someone who could add value, and you misrepresenting that as opposition. Bro, I'm not your opponent. You talking about, you know what I'm saying, you've been doing this and how long you've been doing it, and for somebody to come on after you a headline. Hey, bro, you know how many comedians it is out there rapping right now? You know how many comedians it is out there doing? I've been rapping since I was 8 years old, bro. It took me probably 20 years to goddamn get where I wanted to be. You dig what I'm saying? Now, if a mother was to bring a comedian to an arena, the owner of the arena was to bring a comedian to that arena after I had done got through ripping my what you are failing to do is recognize someone who could be an ally, someone who could be an. You said in your little interview is you said that he's not a comedian, and had you taken the time to come to the stage, what you said that you would not do and you should not do, but I disagree. You would have heard in my set I say I am not a comedian. I'm a superstar. There's a difference. There's a difference. You would have heard that, bro. Like, I'm really just, man, cause to be honest with you, I'm still Tip. I'm still the same Tip. The same they said couldn't be the king of the South and back in 2000, 2001, it personal for me. And that's why I'm the king of the South today. Because I took it that serious, because they said I couldn't do it. And that what y'all getting out of me. You hear me? And I'm in for peace. For peace and tranquility. You understand? But what y'all doing here, you poking the bell. You poking the bell. I'm still Tip, bro. Still go up. But what you said in your little interview is you said that he's not a comedian. And had you taken, you know what I mean, with a lot more discernment, a lot more thought, a lot more intention now, okay? So look, man, let's everybody, man, coexist together. Everybody help each other. If it's a way I can help you, man, just.
So again, you hear what happened, you hear how it happened. It was a situation again, man, that Tip was faced with, you know, dealing with comedian, dealing with that Godfrey guy. So again, as long as it was about the craft, I had respect for the argument. When it became just a personal vendetta, like, yo, you not my ego, I'm better than you, the best comedian go last. See, I didn't come from that. When I studied, I didn't find that dealing with the white boys. When I deal with the white boys, I found out that Joe Rogan brought out Joey Diaz. And oftentimes Joey Diaz killed the crowd, like went hard, everybody laughing. everybody laughing uncontrollably. And Joe Rogan had to follow that. So it wasn't that, right? So I didn't come up with the funniest man go last. The headliner speaks to what you're being paid and how the contracts are structured, right? Sometimes we're dealing with the funniest person that night was the headliner, right? And it's all for the love of the sport. But when you go to talking about, yo, I'm better than you, and so you should be behind me, that doesn't speak to the craft. And I respect the craft just by, again, studying. So I have a different set of expectations for a comedian to say things like that. So that's my outlook on it, man. But another episode of the fastest growing podcast in the world. It's Up There Podcast. Biggest.